you think is safe so far? I could be not bad. My story's left for who you are. Little bit I may have had. All the scab that hides the scar. The gruesome aftermath. The blade lies with you. Your rise, your fall. It cannot be all and all. Time can't erase what you have done. Just force yourself for what's to come. Can't justify the things you've done. Unjustify. Pointed stare without a care. And pay to watch you win. You make a plea, you pray to God who says you got no soul to keep. Cause you lied, you've been denied any liberation. Condemned to live, condemned to hell, condemned to damnation. What you think this makes so far? What could be God, man? Your story's meant for who you are. A little bit I may have had. You're the scab that hides the scar. Gruesome aftermath. Time to run, no time to run. You are the one that's I forgot. Time can't erase what you have done. Just force yourself for what's to come. Set the demons free and watch them fly. Strike down the one who needs me. I'm gonna take his place. Gonna vindicate the human race. Better watch out, 'cause I'm a war machine. Better watch out, 'cause I'm a war machine. Yeah. Take the reins of power and seize them. Draw the battle line. Armageddon's just a matter of time. Tear down the voice of reason. Let the arrows fly. Your freedom's just a state of mind. Yeah, better watch out, 'cause I'm a war machine. You better watch out, 'cause I'm a war machine.
Mics are hot, and this is Tarnation TV. Did we play the right screen? I should do this. Let's do this. This is the real way we're supposed to start the show. TarnationTV.com coming at you from All-Star Racing, a league that has been around for a long time. We've been hired to call the Sunday races. It's called the ASR Superspeedway Series. Brian Wolf is responsible for this series, so he's contacted us to do the broadcasting duties. Sorry for the delay there. We were just getting some technical glitches figured out behind the scenes. My name is Blaine Donlin, and I'm here with Rob Weston. Welcome back, sir.
Well, yeah, welcome back. That's a good way of putting it. I do apologize. I have not been here. I do some real-life racing, and it kind of gets in the way of this broadcasting stuff sometimes, but we had today off, so I'm here. Looking forward to doing what I like to do best at Talladega, that is broadcast, because I do not like racing these tracks. A lot of guys do. Should be a fun thing. Aero 88, great mod for this, great drafting mod. And I'm looking forward to it, doing it for Brian Wolf. Like Brian, he's an awesome dude, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you want to grab Brian and bring him down here, he's got his own little spiel to do. But yeah, the Aero 88 mod is a fantastic mod. I love the way this thing looks, and these guys, the paint jobs you guys come up with are fantastic as well. But Brian is in here, and I guess we got Postal on deck. So anyway, Brian, I'll hand the mic over to you and let you do your thing.
Beautiful. Glad to be here. Thank you guys. And Rod, and sorry about your racing luck this past week, but I'm glad to have you back in here with us. This is week number 2 of our brand new series, our Superspeedway series, Talladega TR 1.5. It is an 8-week series. We're in week number 2, as I said. The sim scores us. We're going back to old school scoring. So there's no playoffs, there's no winning you're in, there's no segments, there's none of that. We're going back to the old school way of scoring. Total points collection at the end of 8 races will win the championship. I was just explaining to those before I got whiplashed down into the booth.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Rod has
Timing is awful.
Of course, we just want to have fun here. We're here to have fun, and I want you guys to also have some fun with this. Love the banner and stuff. Love the play-by-play. But hopefully we've gotten some connection issues out of the way as well. I know last week and for Cannon's races in the past couple of years, we've had some core issues with cars blinking out and stuff. So hopefully we've got our arms wrapped around that whole deal. And we've got everybody together here tonight, and it looks like we've got a really good crowd for this series, being brand new. And I am rip-roaring to go, man. Still a nervous wreck from last week trying to keep all this stuff together. But I am rip-roaring to go, man. I'm ready to have some fun with this thing.
I'll tell you what, I know exactly how you feel. I used to run my own league, and I mean, we didn't do a lot of the broadcasting races, but just trying to get everything done, get everything right, and doing it'll drive you nuts.
It can, and it does. Just like, I mean, we've had this thing, we've been kicking it around for a few months now, and we've gotten everything together now with the car file manager, in layman's terms, is kind of hit and miss. And I know Blaine really can't use the RLM too much, but, getting car files not only to the broadcast, to you guys, the broadcasters, but getting them to everybody has been a real treat.
Yeah.
Especially the last minute one.
Yeah, I've got guys actually coming in here tonight saying, "Hey, where can I get the cars? What track are we running?"
It might be good to have a Google Drive as a backup too, because at least that one doesn't tap out, or a Dropbox.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the thing is you don't have to be registered with our league to race in this series. They've kind of put it in my hands to kind of run things. I have appointed some admins. Ken Roberts, you're going to see him stepping in as admin tonight, and also the guest we want to bring down here is one of our head admins, Nelson Rodriguez, better known as Postal. He used to be known as Postal Wrench. I believe he worked for the Postal Service for a while, but we wanted to get Nelson down in here, maybe talk a little bit about the league's history. And I also wanted to thank him publicly on the air for all the help that he's given me with this series. Nelson runs our Wednesday night series, our Cup series. And what we do there is it's open setup, and it's segment racing. The racing is scored just like you would see on regular NASCAR. And then we have a playoff thing at the end, a chase format. And I'm going to let Postal tell you a little bit more about that. Postal, if you could just give us a quick rundown of a little bit of the league's history, maybe, and your series on Wednesday.
Sure. We started CCR racing back in around 03, and then around 05, the gentleman who owned that league was getting older and decided to retire. So the core group that was with CCR, we then decided on starting on our own league, which was the ASR, which it is today. And that was back in 06. And right now, let me see, I know there's at least 4 guys that are running still from day one of ACR. And it's been a good, we've had a good run. You have some try spells, but in general, the league's been doing pretty decent.
Awesome. I know I've been having a blast in that Wednesday night series, in our Cup series. It's been really fun, really great series. And it's the highest level of competition to me it's the most challenging because with the open setups, I mean, it's tough. Every week I'm running on borrowed stuff. I'm using a lot of Autry weights setups that have worked for me pretty good. And but these guys who work on setups and know how to do it, I mean, they just blister you. They just blister you, and
they do.
It's very challenging. Not to mention how good of drivers they are. And what they're good computer guys. They know this game inside and out, and
the open setup is so cool because as the race goes on, or you can kind of crank on the track bar and only take half a tank of fuel. Like you can kind of do all these late race adjustments. That's the last pit stop always is the crazy one because how much tape you're going to put on, you're dropping air pressures, you're changing your wedge, everybody can do so many different things in the pit stall. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, I have to say the Wednesday night bunch of drivers are probably the most professional drivers I've seen in a long time. There's like 5 or 6 drivers that can win any night, and it's pretty amazing. I don't run that night; I just admin, and the reason being is when I make any judgments on what happens that night, and which I haven't had to, it takes me out of the equation. So I'm just unbiased, and plus I need to pay attention as adminning. We have stages, which is takes a little bit of work to get that done, and then we have a green-white checker situation where we don't end under caution.
That's cool.
So it's pretty exciting. It's a little bit of work for me, but I really enjoy watching the races. The races are really phenomenal.
That's cool. I got to keep track of the schedule though, because when you guys go to Martinsville, I want to go.
Yeah, well, we mimic the big guys. The only thing is we'll change some of the road courses because I want to keep everybody interested.
Yep.
And that's really one of the main reasons I wanted to get you in here, Postal, and talk to you a little bit because this guy, and I'm glad to be saying this live on the air because this guy does sacrifice his own racing for the good of the league and for the good of that series on Wednesday night. I mean, he really does a great job. I mean, he makes it fun. He's one of those guys in the sim racing community that he brings it to the table and he makes it better. You know what I mean? He's just one of those guys that makes it better. And we can't say enough about Postal. I mean, he, like I said before, he is the heart and soul of this league, along with Dave Chin and, some of the other, admins and stuff. And the racers around here are just phenomenal. And I think ASR has been maybe a little bit on the sidelines for a little while. Like Postal was saying, we've had some dry spells here and there, but maybe with this series we can put ASR back on the map. In a bigger position because we really want to draw some drivers for that Wednesday night Cup series because like I said, that is the top level that you can get in this sim.
What mod do you guys run on that?
Gen 6 BR15.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, because I might be interested in doing that. Right now my wheels put away. I haven't been doing a lot of racing. I race with a lot of different leagues off and on. It's just been I race for real, so my scheduling is kind of busy trying to keep that going. That's why I haven't been here doing the broadcasting with Blaine because of that. But that sounds very, very interesting to me. I might like to get in there and try that.
Well, you really like it. The stage racing really amped it up with these drivers. When there's like 2 laps to go at the end of a stage, boy, they really just kick it up. And they don't just kick it up a notch. They kick it up a ton. And you can always see it. And I'm like saying to myself, just as like watching it on TV.
Stage racing adds just a total different thing to the racing because your strategy changes. Normally like tonight's race, I don't even remember the laps right off the top of my head, but you're going to run your strategy based on how the race unfolds. But when a race goes where you've got stage racing, all right, I am going to get a caution here. I'm going to get it at this point. Sometimes that can change your strategies around, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Brian, thank you for everything. You're definitely an asset to the league now. You've pretty much made it probably one of the best around. And thanks again, Brian, for everything.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. And like I said before, Postal, you're the heart and soul of this league, man. Like I said, this guy sacrifices his own racing just for the good of the league. And I know he says he enjoys watching the racing, and who wouldn't? Because the racing here is just phenomenal. I mean, it's been so much fun and so competitive. We want to draw some drivers for our Wednesday Cup series because if you can win in that series, man, you've done something because it's tough. I mean, it's it's very challenging. But yeah, Postal, thank you so much, man. And I'm going to have these guys kick us out of here, Postal, go back up into the race room, and we're about to kick this thing off.
All right. Sounds good.
Good
Thanks for
talking to you.
stopping in.
Thank you, Postal.
Thanks for stopping and giving us the information. That's pretty cool. So you might get a new driver on Wednesday there, Postal.
All right. We welcome everyone.
Thanks, Postal. Good luck tonight, guys.
Thank you, guys, and thank you guys for doing the broadcast. And hopefully we've got our arms and our heads wrapped around this thing as far as the core issues we've been having, and we'll see a really good broadcast and a good show tonight. If not, we'll attack it again next week and press on.
That's the way we do it, buddy.
Thanks for having us.
All right, throw me back up, and we're going to go to qualifying here in just a minute.
Awesome. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for Postal coming down. Yeah, he's hard to get, man. Other broadcasting teams have tried to get an interview with Postal, and he refuses to talk to every single broadcaster ever. But Tarnation TV, we got pulled.
Wow, that's awesome. We are the man, the myth, the legend, and Blaine's mind.
That's it. Yeah, very, very neat though. The open setup is cool. I'd love to. Yeah, I don't know if I'd love to drive in that. I mean, I would just get out of everybody's way. Because I used to, when the game first came out, I would obviously just race against the AI, because racing on the Sierra servers was fun, but you really need to be in a league when it comes to a racing sim.
Yeah.
But the AI in this game, the artificial intelligence is amazing. So I had a ton of fun just racing seasons with, set it to like 99% strength or 95. I had a list of, I would do a lot of practicing on each track. And you can't just set it at 100 and do every track. You'll get like blitzkrieg on some tracks, and then you'll walk away from other people on other tracks. So I kind of had like, if I'm at Bristol, I'll set it to 88. If I'm at Daytona, I'll set it to 97. Like I had a little cheat sheet, and it was fun. Well, but then you get into these leagues, it's a totally different thing. Like,
so we did it a little differently. Back then, when this game came out, high-speed internet wasn't really the thing. You had dial-up. Dial-up really made it hard. We tried it a couple of times. So what we would do is we would get together, friends and family and whatever. And we would meet at each other's house. This month was at my house. Next month was at my buddy Chris's house. Next month was at Mike Smith's house. And we were all racers, street stock racers that raced against each other and stuff like that. And so we would do that, and then as things got a little bit better and whatnot, then I ended up becoming paralyzed, and that changed a little bit of the aspect of it. And then next thing you know, I moved away from out of the city, out of the woods where I was, closer into the more of the town, and now we had high-speed internet. And I remember that very first couple of times going out there in the Sierra lobby going, oh my God, this is horrible. I mean, it was absolutely horrible. And I just typed into the chat, what are these rooms that are locked? And they said, well, they're like clans. So I went to the first one, which just happened to be rushgaming.net. I joined them, and then before you knew it, I was racing with guys all over the United States, and that's what got me to this point. Just the Sierra lobby, looking up, seeing the first name I saw, and joining basically a clan or a group that got me into racing. And
that's the first thing. When you get into a group like that, like in the first-person shooters like Counter-Strike, those in like Unreal Tournament, they all had clans. But then the racing side, we call them leagues. When you get into a group of people like that, and you can get on and you can play and you can have Roger Wilco or TeamSpeak or whatever you use to chat with each other, it changes the aspect of the whole thing. Yeah, Ventrilo was there too. I forgot about that one. Used to use Vent. And, very cool to be with like-minded people who actually want to do it a certain way and not just get out there and start hooking guys, because that's what happens sometimes in a public server. It's just you're going to have that one guy who's going to go backwards down the straightaway. And
you had all kinds of everything. You had everything that you could possibly imagine happening. And now you're racing maybe on a week-to-week basis with the same guys, and you get to know them, and you get to have more fun racing. I myself, I love the open setup ones. I've won races at Open 7 leagues. I ran it over to Hobo, and I do talk about them on and off because they are a great league of guys and great group of guys. And on Tuesdays they ran an open setup, and it was so much fun. Just because you can tweak the setup to your likeness and how you like it. And
For those of you who might hear that noise, that one right there, let it go one more time. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my dog snoring. So I was keeping my mic muted when you guys were talking to Postal because she's lying right next to me, and it was a pretty hot day today. So I had a couple of thermoses of water, and we went for a big drive, and made sure obviously she had lots of water and whatnot. But yeah, she's cooked. She's burned out on fresh air, so now she's sawing logs right under my feet right now. So if you hear the every once in a while, that's just my dog snoring.
So let me ask you a question. What is the temperature in your house right now?
Oh yeah, you don't have air. I got central air conditioning, dude. I'm sorry.
Right. So the temperature is what? Though?
23 degrees Celsius.
That translates to what Fahrenheit?
I can't remember, 70, 72, 75, something like that.
Yeah, it's 85 degrees in my house right now.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's it's humid
I'm
up here.
I'm a little strange.
Do you guys get the crazy humidity? Like,
oh yeah. We get it. We don't get it like Florida would or whatever, but no, up here it gets, but you also got to figure 98-degree weather. I'm outside playing in it. I'm not in air conditioning.
Blaine, sorry if I'm interrupting. We're going to qualifying here in 3.
I know, I'm strange.
Oh, there's Brian Wolf. Thanks, Brian. Roger. Yeah, it's 24 degrees Celsius is 75.2 degrees Fahrenheit. But yeah, we keep around 24, so it's not cold in here. It's just enough to live in it. Because today it was like 30. It was like 36 or something, which is kind of gross.
So what happens?
90-ish something.
With me, what happens to me, it's like today. I went grocery shopping. So I get out of my car, I go into the store, it's air conditioning. Mm-hmm. As soon as you come out of the store, you hit that wall of heat. Right? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So when I come out of my house to go outside, guess what's not waiting for me?
Yeah, exactly. It's cooler.
It's the same temperature. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Your house is a little bit warmer, so.
Yeah. I know I'm strange. So this is my first time doing it for the Sunday night thing here.
Yes, this
which is old school. Great, and I do apologize for missing the first race. I made it almost home, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to be ready in time, and so I missed it. But I think Andrew Miller covered for me?
He did, yes. So he's broadcasting right now, actually, over at Fast.
I appreciate Andrew coming over and taking my place while I couldn't make it. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I like racing against him.
Yeah,
but this is nice at the old school. 8 races, winner takes it all. I like that. The game, gives you the points. Lead the most laps, you get 5 bonus points. Leave a lap, you get 5 bonus points. I like that. I like that fact that there's no stage racing, which it intrigued. I'm intrigued by the Wednesday night and stage racing. I've never been a big fan of stage racing. I think myself personally in the real world, I think it's taken away from the racing, but
it's a different. Did you retire your car? I just realized I just did mine for the qualifier. But yeah, it's everything too. Like, same league, every series in the league, of course, is very, very different. Wolf is running a straight up old school 2003 point setup. At the checkered flag of the last race, whoever has the most takes it. So simple. We don't have to do any weird math. It could be a barn burner, and it's only an 8-race season. We did have, as you can see there was 19 drivers that logged in last week, but only 18 were on the track. So you can see on screen right now those 18 points after race number 1. Mark Paglia won. Dennis McCarthy was right there, and Brian Wolf was behind him. It was a great finish. We thought Wall was going to take it, and some stuff happened, and it was a pretty good finish. There was a few cautions last week. I think there was about 5. We are running 66 laps. But, did they restart qualifying?
I don't think they've got to qualifying yet.
I think they restarted it.
I'm not sure. We got about 35 seconds, and then they're going to go to qual.
Oh, I see what's going on. I'm looking at the wrong. Yep. I got my drive button up there, and I didn't know why. Getting ready to qualify right now. We will be green shortly. There will be a 5-minute happy hour too. So I'm expecting green flag racing to start around 8:15, which is in the next 13 minutes or so. Gives us a couple minutes to get qualifying out of the way. The boys will head into happy hour, do their testing for some pit stalls. It's probably not too bad. Talladega is a massive track. These guys know how to get around it, but the 5-minute break in happy hour is a good time to grab an extra bottle of water or whatever you got to do. And if you join us here Tuesday night, the 8th of July, a couple more days at 8:30, we go live at Maverick. The Maverick Cup Series heads back to Daytona, the only race they have in July, and it's Daytona. So away we go. Join us on Tuesday over there at Maverick. And of course, next Sunday, right back here, ASR Superspeedway Series at Talladega. And we are running Talladega, the Tally Rally, the TR version of Talladega.
Hopefully I'll be back from racing at that time. And if you guys were listening to Brian Wolf when he said something about sorry to hear about your luck, well, in the qualifying heat, I took the whole right front right off the go-kart. Literally, the whole right
qualifying.
Front. In qualifying.
Yeesh.
2 carts tangled up in front of me. I had nowhere to go. I come into them sideways. I mean, I turned left, braked, tried to avoid them, and ended up crashing into them, taking my whole right front off, destroying the bumper on that side, and bending a rear axle.
Yikes. Yeah, you were telling me about all the miles you have to put on next week collecting parts to repair these things now, because you've got to do some driving to get these pieces, eh?
Yeah, so I got to go Tuesday to buy. I've already got a brand new axle in it. We had one for spare. The crew guys put that back in. One of the guys that helps me out, he's not even on my crew or anything, he put all of his components out of his trailer on the right front, so I got to replace all those and replace them back onto the cart. And so, yeah, we got to spend a little bit of money, and then with about 4 laps to go, the motor fell flat, so we're putting the motor on as well. So, yeah, we're going to spend a little bit of money this week. Very, very fortunate that my sister, the lady that she lives with, my modified driver, Jim Carley, and another kid that I helped out a little bit, all donated money to get me back out on the track. So I'm very, very thankful for those guys.
Yeah, it's always nice to have friends in your back pocket. I mean, it is like a community, right? Like, you could be competitive with these guys, but how can you be competitive if they're not on the track? So it's like, yeah, you're my opponent, but we've got to help you get back out there, man, because this is what we do, you know?
In our division, we have 6 carts, okay? One cart parks way over in the backside out of the way. 5 of us park right beside each other. So my teammate, Sheldon, who drives the 96, put my rear axle in with the girl's father that drives my other cart, worked on my rear axle. Megan, the girl that whoops us up all the time, she was the guy Steve is on her crew. He put my right front together, while her dad put together Josie's cart, was also involved in that. No, there's 5 of us. We pit together. We work together. It doesn't matter if you need something and they have it, they will give it to you and put it on the car. Our division is absolutely one of the funnest divisions because of that. Now, when we get on the racetrack, we race each other very, very hard. We don't run into each other. We don't do stupid stuff. You know, if you don't have the position, you get out. You know, stuff like that. But we race very, very hard. We're not opposed to putting the bumper in each other. I mean, any of that. But it's a great, great group of guys, and we just have a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's good competition.
Yep, and like I said, love it. Every minute of it's so much fun.
Yeah, that's always good to have that, you know, hard racing but clean racing, and then of course everybody can go for a pint after and everything's okay. We'll see you next week, kind of thing. On screen now, the information for the track, which I thought was kind of neat. Now that we plug our stats into Score 4, I can. After race 1, it's tough because there's only one race worth of statistics. But looking at, so we got 66 laps tonight. We're using the Aero 88 mods. So these cars look like they're from the late 80s. Damage will be set to moderate. We do run a fixed setup here at the super speedways. So last week, Mark Paglia, Dennis McCarthy, Brian Wolf, those are your top 3. And the fastest pole, of course, only one race, so it's easy. But Randy Waugh had the fastest pole last week with 52.447 seconds. And
Doing it again.
I'm watching it now.
He's doing it again.
He actually, we're watching it on the screen here now as qualifying is coming to a finish. He was in first. Kelly Causey and Nate Balser just got by him.
Roberts right there, Mike Angelardi, Keith Bynum, Kenny Carroll, Josh too was out there, which if he was here last week or not, Brian Rosson, I got to say that right.
Yeah.
And then Chuck T, so currently in the top 10. One thing I do like about this being only about 18 to 20 drivers, to me, it makes for better racing. Yet sometimes you get too many drivers and it's too many cautions, but
yeah.
so balls are going to end up with a pole, yeah.
Yeah, there's your starters right there. I'm sure they're showing the game menu right now. But Nate Balser with the pole position headed into happy hour. Maybe we should grab him and have a chit chat.
Could do that.
Nate Balser live on Tarnation TV. Ben, you got your microphone on?
I got a copy.
Cool. You going out for a drive in the happy hour here?
I might. I'll probably go get some water.
Oh, we'll let you go then. We just want
to.
I think he's shaking from that laugh. That's what he's doing.
I was going to say we saw that you set the pole position there. So if you gotta, we always kind of grab you and chit chat. But if you got to go get the water, you can definitely go get the water.
Oh no, I'm good. You want to chit chat? I'm good.
Yeah, that'll work then. So yeah, I can't remember. Were you here last week? I'm looking on the list. You were not.
No, I was out of town. I was down in Long Beach, Washington. So I got a provisional. So made sure I was here this week.
Nice. Yeah, with an 8-week series, are you planning to be here for most of it?
Yes, I do. It sounds like you're getting all the kinks out and should be getting up pretty smooth and be a pretty good series. It looks like.
Yeah, we had 18 hit the track last week, and it was a great race. It's just phenomenal finish too. We had no idea what was going down with fuel mileage and stuff, so it was a very cool finish last week. So yeah, race number 2 should be a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll let you get going. Actually, if you got to do your pre-race thing, it looks like they got about 8 minutes on the clock here. But Rod, did you want to talk to Nate about anything?
Just give him heck, buddy. I know you can do it.
Hey, Rod, I appreciate that. But really good to see you in the booth again. Both you guys. You guys always do a great show.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
Thank you, too.
There he is, Nate Balser, as he runs away and goes to get his drink.
Gets his drink and gets back out there. Some tires put on that puppy and see if he can't hold that pole position and maybe come out here with a win tonight. I got faith in him. I like Nate. He can do it.
Yeah, and the competition out here, it's anybody's race. Randy Waugh last week dominated the thing, but you got to lead one lap, and he didn't lead the last one. So it actually came down to a little bit of a fuel mileage game. So some guys were sort of gambling on to stay in and stay out, and all the clutching that happens. But it was a cool race. So tonight should be. Looks like I'm showing 26 drivers online tonight. So we got not way more, but looks like because you got to remember we're in here too. So yeah, there's a good chunk of drivers in here tonight. I'm going to say 24 guys might hit the track tonight. We won't really know obviously until we roll off.
Some people will actually come in and watch and not even race too. So
yeah, that's the thing. And I think too, it's neat to see. Like you were kind of mentioning it before, like 20 to 25 is a good solid chunk for Talladega. So when you get 40, it's amazing. But when we talk about the speed of this track, and we do run restrictor plates, well, we don't run restrictor plates tonight. It's the Craftsman truck physics, so they're still clumped together. But bump drafting with that many rows really does cause a massive ripple effect that just amplifies. 20, you can be a little bit more aggressive with the bumping because it doesn't ripple through the whole field because there's only about 20, 25 cars.
Trucks break a little bit more of an opening through the air, so they draft up better. They just are all around draft better. That's why you'll see a lot of leagues, even though they're running the Gen BR Cup Series, but they'll be running the one with the CTS physics. Just because of that reason, they do draft up better. Basically, if you look at the truck to the Cup, it's just an aerodynamic thing. The truck's breaking through the air more, so it brings a bigger opening. But
yeah, like this camera pack that I used, this spectator camera going down the back straightaway last week, you see lanes, a lane will come out of turn 2 and hit that backstretch, and you can pass like 6 cars if you guys are tucked together, because like you said, the drafting's just amplified. And it's just such a cool, it's such a different style when they run the CTS at the super speedways. It's just so much more fun to watch.
And when you get into this style of racing too, it's totally different. It's, we've talked about, a little bit about how, certain guys go fast and do this. And Randy Waugh, he led most of it. But there's a lot of strategy and you need a lot of help here. You need somebody pushing you to be able to keep you ahead of them. And if you got the right people behind you, you can do real well. You'll see a lot of the guys out front. They may move from the bottom to the top. They're going to follow the inertia. They're going to follow where the runs are coming, trying not to get wrecked in the process. But that's the thing. I've always said it's like playing chess with 20 different people at 200 miles an hour. I can't keep up. You'd rather be out here running up front. Me, I just sit back and watch these guys go.
Yeah, last week was, and again too, like we were kind of, we saw a couple of really good saves last week too. Like some spots in the race were like, oh man, this comes a wreck, and then they gave each other space. Like the awareness is cool to watch sometimes too. Like, okay, wrecks, accidents look cool. Like they're, nobody's going to get hurt in a racing simulator. So a car goes up into the stratosphere and tires are flying off. It's neat. But it's also super neat to realize, in the draft, we can be 200 mile an hour, and to see a guy almost, go sideways, drift a little bit, catch the thing, everybody around him sees what's happening, gives them some space, and they all just kind of tuck back in and keep on rolling. That's almost more amazing to be able to save the car, because being a simulator, it's
absolutely,
you got to drive it. How are you going to drive it? Well, some of these guys really know how to drive it.
First, there's a lot of different things with the simulator. As we were saying that, I just watched Ken Roberts get into the back of Paglia in the middle of the corner. Just a bump draft kind of gone wrong. Great save though by Paglia. But it's the thing about it is with this game and simulator. So 20 years ago, we're out there running on Pro Digital wheels and different wheels like that. Now the wheels that they have out for most of it's for basically the iRacing thing, but people have learned to take those wheels and be able to manipulate them and work with them to make and help them out so that they can, which helps in saving the car like that. My wheel's an old school. There's no force feedback. There's no nothing. It's just got spring in it, and you go out and you race. These other wheels have got force feedback. They've got force feedback on the pedals. They've got a vibrating feel. If you do, it's just crazy.
And it's kind of phenomenal that they're able to plug that into a 2003 piece of software and it works. This thing was so far ahead of its time. It's wild.
I keep telling him it was 2002, but he doesn't remember.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I know.
2003 written on the box.
I know. That's because they had to get it out in 2002 or they couldn't sell it.
Yeah. And I think too that the our favorite simulator, it's actually more popular now than it was back then when Papyrus was still a company, and then they were a hugely successful racing simulator developer, and with the IndyCar games that they did, and all the NASCAR stuff was so good. And after
that
went away, we were like,
we are a boot to take the green in about a
just
minute
kept getting better with every new version of it.
Just talking to Brian Wolf on Whisper there. He had me, but it's amazing. It's amazing that when Papyrus was on its way out, we were all like, "Oh man!" They shut down the Sierra servers, and then it got even more popular because of guys are just buying their own servers and still running their leagues, and we figured out how to do it.
It started out with it literally started out with Project Wildfire, which was a bunch of employees of Sierra or Papyrus
Yeah.
who created their own company, and they started making upgrades. And basically, in 2003, you got the Cup mod. That's all you got. The original Cup mod was all that it had. So they made an update which allowed you to have the Truck Series and the Bush Series. And then before you know it, people started creating mods. So then people started kind of going along and keeping up with the newer cars and the newer mods and newer stuff. Now you sit there and you say, wow, geez, just imagine where these people would have gone if they had kept this sim going.
Yeah.
Well, in a roundabout way, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's a little more expensive, but basically, this is where iRacing came from. John Henry and another person bought out the rights to Papyrus. They
David
bought
Kramer.
the game. Yeah, they bought the game, and now it is basically what iRacing is now.
Yeah, the core of the physics engine, like it all had to start from somewhere. So why rebuild it when you already have it?
Yep, they bought out Papyrus. They built iRacing. I'm not telling you that iRacing is bad. Some of the stuff that they've done with it and where they've gone with it is absolutely amazing. My issue is it's a financial thing. You have to pay a monthly thing, which isn't too bad if you do it the right way. If you run in a league that say they want to follow the original Cup schedule,
Oh God,
it's $15-$20 per track. It's $15-$20 per mod. And they say it's somewhere around $5,000 to $6,000 if you approached iRacing to buy everything they had to offer.
See, and that's the
I'm
thing.
not knocking them.
But not
Dude,
everybody's
it's
going to
crazy.
buy every discipline
Yep.
either. Like I jump in, I want to play NASCAR, and I'm not going to want to play the F1 stuff or the rally trucks or all these others. They have so many disciplines in the game.
They've done the dirt, so now they've got dirt modifieds, they've got dirt spree stocks, they've got dirt late models. They've got into the world of the championship off-road racing trucks.
I did like the street stocks. The street stock series was really cool. I used to mess with that and the ARCA series. It was cool. And again, when I jumped into like that NASCAR side of it, not the open wheel stuff, but the stock car side of it, it feels exactly like this, which was so cool to feel. I'm like, this is NASCAR Racing 2003 season. It was great. And I know, like we were talking about how they keep taking the we're getting ready to roll.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that, but you were on a roll.
Yep.
Nate Balzer is gonna be on the pole outside Kelly Kaza, the guy that ran really strong last week. Randy Waugh is gonna start in third. Ken Roberts in fourth. Mike Mangialardi is gonna be our fifth place starter. Keith Bynum in sixth. Denny Carroll is gonna be seventh. Josh 2, I like the paint scheme he's running tonight. Some of the old paint schemes out here are pretty cool. And the ninth place is going to be Brian Russell. And then 7th and 10th is going to be Chuck T. And I'm going to let you go from there.
Take it away, buddy, because I'm flipping my core here.
All right. So then we're going to go 11th is going to be Brad Otto. The 12th is going to be ASR Burge. 13th is going to be the number 7 ASR Pulsel, which we talked to him earlier. 14th is going to be Ed Finley. 15th is going to be the 88 of DC 88. Now, I'm not sure who that is, but that's
David Chin.
David Chin. Okay, because I don't have. I don't have GNL TV working tonight.
Yeah, he's one of the owners.
Very good. And then I've raced with Jax before, and then we're going to have this one here. Would we come up with a name for that one? Was the Zelinsky?
Okay, fired up
Did I say that right?
Remember, one switch at a time.
Oh yes.
Yes. Okay. And then we're going to skip the Blaine Donnelly guy because he does not know how to race. So we're going to go to the 016 of CCR Simo. I talked with him earlier tonight. Pretty cool dude.
Adam Simonic.
Yep. And then the 28th of Mark Paglia, people we know. Tonight's the guy that's running the whole show, Brian Wolf, is going to be starting 20th. We don't want that Rod Weston guy there because, he's silly, crazy guy. John Godfrey, and rounding up the field, I didn't see him sneak in here. It's Alex Moe.
Yeah, the ASR. The Maverick core didn't work. It instantly kicked me.
I like Kelly Cos's car, so when you get a chance to go in there, the old Smoky Eunuch, I like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just run with the one I had.
Just run the stock core.
No, I was.
Really?
Yeah. And it was making everybody disappear.
While he's getting that figured out, pace car is on pit road. Remember, we're at Talladega tonight, so we're not going to get the green for a little bit. There's a lot of ways to go before they get the green flag. Picazo's outside there with the old smoky unit. We're going to call that the Chevy Chevelle. I can't really tell what it is, but that's what he used to run, the most illegal car that he ever made. That was such a cool looking rig.
Most illegal car on the planet Earth.
Oh, it was crazy. The stories about that car are just unreal. Balzer got a good run at the bottom. It's getting a good push from Randy Waugh down there. Now Kelly Kosler's got Ken Roberts right behind him. They're starting to get tucked up in that high side. Now, the TR version, I do know that they do have a pretty decent outside groove on this. It's probably one of those situations where if you had 3 cars on the outside, 4 cars on the inside, it's fairly even. The outside groove can be a little better, but you still have to have the right amount of cars out there, and you also have to have them drivers be really, really tight. Balzer's going to lead, looks like he's going to lead the first lap. As that outside line starts to form up just a little bit, they're starting to get a pretty good run. Randy Waugh's back there in second, Mike Mangialardi back there in the third spot. Napa Ford Thunderbird. Love some of these old paint schemes. They are, we got some of the guys out there that are running relatively newer ones, but, I know like Randy Waugh runs his own, but he did make it kind of have that old school look. Denny Carroll's out there tonight, and he's running his own, but it is like an old school look. Nobody out there really has gone absolutely crazy, to try to make a modern paint scheme. They were all out there with the older school paint schemes, which look really good. Now Kelly Kosler's starting to get a really good run. He's getting a great push on that high side from Ken Roberts and Keith Bynum. Brian Rosen behind them. An old Budweiser. I love that. It's a number 6, but the old Budweiser car.
Okay, buddy, fired up here. Remember, one switch at a time, turning your stuff on.
Kelly Kosler's gonna taking the lead over right now on the outside. But as you remember, we've talked about this before. At these super speedways like this, they'll get a better run going into the corner on the inside, but the outside will get a little bit.
Lane, I'm coming to you from
once they get going
inside the cockpit. I know you're having issues.
The bottom line's really running really
from what
tight.
they're telling me try a normal core.
Kelly Kosler's going to run
That's
up that
working
high
for
side.
Josh too.
Stay right up on that high side.
Okay, roger that. Thanks, Brian. Just talking with Brian off the track here.
I'm having the same issue over here too with the original core, so I apologize, buddy.
I'm trying to give the best visual I can of it.
And you're using the Maverick core, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, my Maverick core is not working. And if I delete the core and let the game generate,
it's going to give you the original core.
It gives me the original one, but it's...
Apologize, guys, for having some technical difficulties tonight, but I am going to try to give you the best play-by-play I can while he's getting that figured out. Outside line's doing really good. We've got Kelly Kosler, Ken Roberts, Keith Bynum, and Brian Rosling back there. They've got that thing rolling up there. At any point in time, Kelly Kosler and Ken Roberts, they're out far enough they could actually move down, but I don't think you're going to see them do it. They seem to have a pretty good advantage. Like I said, this is one of those tracks where the outside groove is pretty good. Get formed up a little bit tighter on the bottom, you can make it up. Track always lends for good side-by-side racing, especially near the end of it when people really start to push the issue, get a little bit more pushing going on to try to get them guys to make it past them. Now, currently, they've gotten out in so much of the lead. They got Brian Rosling out there ahead of Nate Balzer. Not quite past him yet, but he is ahead of him. They're all still staying on that high side. Seems to be working good for them. Now, the question is when you're going to get one of those guys in the back that's going to decide that they're going to try to go to the bottom in front of Nate Balzer and see if that will work for them. Now, that'll slow down that outside line for a little bit. With some good drivers, they'll keep that line going on the high side pretty strong. How we doing over there, buddy?
Working on it. I'm trying to see here if I do a complete reboot of the ticker software, if I can get it. Maybe just let it chill for a minute, see what happens.
Almost got a third line kind of starting out up there, I believe.
Okay, buddy.
Thanks for
fired up
watching
here.
Tarnation
Remember,
TV
one switch at
Radio.
a
Your
time.
host,
Turn
John
yourself on.
from Rod Weston.
We do the best we can.
Well,
With what
that's crazy.
information do we have?
I'm pinging 100. I got 100 quality, but I am getting the most
Okay.
erratic thing I've ever seen in my life here. Like this is what I'm seeing.
Brad Otto is out there on the trying to make the third groove work. He's got 4 guys with him coming into the picture here.
So we're under yellow, right?
Yeah. Oh, we are now.
Yeah, even the pace car is all over the place.
See if I can figure out what happened.
Yeah, this is weird. I'm kind of just hoping it's going to stabilize. Like, I don't know really if I fixed it, but I guess we're going to see in a minute here.
So I'm going to say that looked like a bump draft gone wrong, just a little bit on the exit of the corner. Kind of looks like Randy Waugh might have gotten the back of Nate Balzer, and which caused him, obviously he was trying not to do that, and lifted. And then Angelardi, a few of the other cars didn't have time to react, and it just caused a big melee, I believe, in the exit of turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like Godfrey has retired.
Kelly Costas currently your leader.
It looks like it may have stabilized it. I mean, when we go green, we'll see for sure here.
Yep.
Just do a couple other things here while I'm going.
Kelly Kaza, Ken Roberts, Keith Bynum, looks like Paglia. They all pitted. Looks like Brian Wolf is going to be the one car to stay out. Batman, and the Batman Oldsmobile, which is kind of cool looking. Fluid Studios car, that's pretty cool. T was the other one that pitted. Denny Carroll, ASR Burge, Postal. So quite a few cars pitted. Were more in the back of the pack. Some of the ones that were probably involved in it as well. Did have a handful of drivers, starting off with Kelly Kaza, who did pit, come out in the 6th spot. I believe the 6 cars in front of them are the ones that are going to have stayed out. Be Brian Wolf, Randy Waugh, Josh 2, Brian Rosen, Brad Otto, 5 guys. There's 6 cars that stayed out.
Just sliding through the field here. Kelly Causey in that 13 got really simple graphic on that one.
That's the Smoky Unit car. My favorite.
Oh, is that
story,
what it is? That 13 right there? Oh, okay.
My favorite story of his when they found him with 12 violations. 12 violations. Things that were wrong. They had pulled the fuel tank out of the car because they were checking everything out. He goes, all right, whatever. He goes, you might as well call it 13. Got in the car and drove to his shop, which is 2 miles away.
Wow, with no gas tank.
No gas tank.
So is that why it's number 13?
Yep. It had.
How much fuel line did he have?
11 feet of fuel hose.
Oh my God.
2-inch diameter.
No way. 2-inch diameter.
I gained another 2 gallons of fuel.
That's like a Gatorade bottle. That's how big that is. That's amazing. And 11 feet of that.
2 gallons of fuel extra.
In the line.
In the line.
Wow. So it's almost like fill the tank until it's full, fire the car up, let it run for literally 10 seconds, and then it'll drop 2 liters, and you can put 2 more liters in.
One of the other funnier
You say
ones.
liters or gallons?
Gallons.
Gallons. Wow. So that's like 9 liters.
So you got to think about it like this too. The other
awesome.
ones was they had a 22-gallon fuel rule. So he put a 26-gallon fuel tank in it, put a basketball in it, put the fuel in, drained it out, and pulled, and then he flattened out the basketball, took it out, and he had an extra 3 gallons.
Wow.
Best one was when they started making templates, and so he made up a template for his car. He brought it to the track, and they were like, "Oh, that doesn't match the template." He goes, "I got a template right here that I made. It matches right to it." They're like, "Oh, no, that's not going to work. That's that's not right." You go like, "Why?" He goes, "All right, let's go out in the parking lot. I guarantee you, there's got to be another Chevelle out there in the parking lot, and let's just see if this fits." They did. Right. And they went out there. Oh, by God, there was a Chevrolet out there. They put the template on it, fit. I guess you're right. Now, of course it is right, because he built the car and put it out in the parking lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
All the, like, I don't know what it is, like, in any other sport, if you're cheating, you're just the biggest piece of garbage around, right? Like, steroids in boxing. They're putting weights. They're putting weights in the boxing gloves. And like, you're actually trying to kill a person. Like you're trying to hit him so hard you break his face in half. Like, why are you putting, like, I think they would inject mercury into the gloves because they could use a syringe to get it in there between the stitching, and they would fill it up with like mercury, which is heavy. And it's like, why are you trying to hit a guy with a sledge? Like, that's basically what you're doing. You hit him with a hammer. But when it comes to like steroid use in the Olympics and all this kind of stuff, it's lame. But in motorsports, I love it.
But what's funny about
I love it because there's so many ways to do it, and that's the coolest thing about it. I don't know why. If you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
Smokey Unit's philosophy was this: if it wasn't in the rule book that said he can't do it, then he can do it.
True. Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly the way he looked at it.
You'll never see anybody do what Chastain did with that wall ride. That'll never happen again.
Oh, never.
Like, why did you let him get away with it? Well, you had to, because it's not in the rule book. Nobody knew that would work. So dangerous. He could have injured himself, could have injured a fan, could have killed somebody, but he didn't. So we got lucky. Now you can't do that anymore. Sorry.
Back when I raced, I got tore down one night. They said they were after my heads. They took them off and brought them in there. Now I was found illegal. Okay, I knew they were illegal. And they said to me, everybody said to me, "Well, if you knew they were illegal, why don't you just say my heads were illegal?" No, I'm not going to give them to you.
We got to catch
them first. I wanted to see what they could find. Yeah. They were like, "What do you mean?" Never told anybody the story, but they found with bigger valves. Okay, it's the only thing they found. So I went off, and if you've ever heard of Shane Meal, he was Kevin Harvick's crew chief. Well, one of his cars raced at my local track up here. They could run the bigger valves, and they were running the smaller valves, and the guy brought me in to show me. Well, he showed me. Next week, I showed back up with those same heads with the smaller valves in them. 3 weeks later, I got tore down.
Nice.
They tore it apart. They checked the valves. All right, you're legal. That's the only thing they ever checked. They weren't anything. The only thing that was legal about them heads was that they were the stock casting number. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah. They never found it. It was the only thing to look for was valves.
Yeah, right.
We're getting ready to go back. Green Pace Car is going to take the trip down to pit road. Kelly Cos is still out there out front
with lane choice.
Ken Robert
stayed on the bottom.
So they all did pit. Everybody that didn't pit the first time, they ended up coming back out, pitting the second time around. You said we lost one car out of the deal. Yeah, John Godfrey.
Yeah.
Do you have one car that is one lap down? That was... I don't remember the name.
Simonic.
Yeah, Simonic, that's it. Cool-looking car, though. Kelly Cosby get a great restart, moves up there in front of Ken Roberts. So those are two guys that we know from other leagues that have run together. They will stay nose to tail all the time. They are very good at that.
He got a good start, and I think Ken will lift just a notch to let him slide up. That's when you said, when I said, like, yeah, get lane choice, he chose to stay on the bottom, but that's probably
Seen
why
that
they were
happen
going to get
many,
together.
many a
Yeah.
time. Denny Carroll jumped up there with him. Postal jumped up there with him. Angelardi down at the bottom. Have that quick Ed Finley behind Mangialardi. Try to see if they can make that bottom work. But as we've talked about before, that high groove, if you can get some guys that'll stay together, you get Kelly Kaza and Ken Roberts up there, you know those guys are really good drafting together.
Yeah.
Denny Carroll behind them is going to be a great one. Postal's a little new to me. I have watched Postal race in some of the other races that we've done with Brian Wolf, like Cannon Race and stuff like that, but don't know enough of his, racing history. I saw a car back there I like.
What do you got?
Look at it.
What is it? What number?
Oh, it's Alex Moe, it's the Lowell's. It's the old Mike Skinner Lowell's paint scheme.
Oh, cool. Okay.
The go-kart that I started racing with out here hanging out in the garage of my wall has that paint scheme on.
That's cool. Yeah, because you have the hood hanging on the wall, don't you?
I still have the whole cart hanging on the wall.
Oh, okay.
I have the front panels every year. At the end of this year, this cart's going up for sale. And then I will take the front panel, and this one I will keep the wing. It was a tribute to my uncle. Passed away last year. The reason why I started racing. So.
Oh, yeah.
Are now all lined up front. So they decided that bottom groove is not going to work. They've all gone to the high sides, reminiscent of when the Pied Piper and the real NASCAR deal used to get up on the top side. Although Ken Roberts did do a drop down to the bottom. Missed that why he did that. Whether he thought he had to.
Yeah, and he's lost a lot of spots because of that.
Bagley just gave him a good old shot to get him back up to speed.
Gonna need more cars than that, though. Currently focused on Ed Finley in that black number 80.
Bandit car. I like that. Yeah. That looks cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. You got Nate Balser, or a couple behind him there. Mangialardi behind him, and then Balser behind him, and that JBL-sponsored rig. That thing is super cool. Of course, that's our pole sitter.
Really do like a lot of these older paint schemes. I mean, all the cars look good out there. But they've
lends to that too, like all these hard lines of these old body styles, and guys are just going to do retro paint schemes, and it's always super cool to see what they come up with.
That's like Chuck T out there in the old Rusty Wallace Miller Genuine draft paint scheme. And I was talking to him earlier, and the guys earlier, just to let getting here, getting myself familiar, chatting with the guys again. And I said, I like that paint scheme. I said, I'm not a Rusty Wallace fan, never been. I said, neither am I. I just like the paint scheme itself.
The Miller Genuine draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
of course, you got Josh 2 out there. He's running, it's a Josh 2 paint scheme, but it's like the old Kodiak paint scheme.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what he did. He took the Kodiak
Rusty Wallace
scheme.
or even, you could say Ken Schrader. They ran the old Kodiak scheme.
Yeah, Adam Sabonic in front of him. Who's behind him? C-Jax.
I mean, I could keep going. You've got Ken Walters out there in the old Michael Waltrip Miller, the Mountain Dew paint scheme. Even you look at
yeah, because what was that one? Because it wasn't Mountain Dew.
Was Mountain Dew?
Was it Mountain Dew?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 88. Darrell Waltrip.
We've got some movement.
Exact paint scheme, just about like that. Just wasn't 55.
That's Keith Bynum sliding up to the high side there. We're driving that Ben Franklin number 63. Now,
that's the one I don't have. Late entry, and I wasn't able to get that car.
Oh, yeah, he got it to me. He texted it to me.
I know.
But we got... Oh, that kind of stabilized. I thought that line was going to fall back a lot more than it actually did. He decided to slip out of line there, and Mangialardi tucked in behind him. We got two 29s on the track tonight. We got the 029 of Mangialardi, and we got the other 29, which is Brian Wolf, currently sitting back in 14th. Brian Wolf.
You got guys like Bynum and Mangialardi. Them guys, they've raced together. Denny Carroll, all them guys, they've raced together plenty at a track called Talladega Nights. And one of the things you can do there is run that third groove. Old habits are hard to break. This one, you're going to have to take you're going to need a lot more help to make that third groove work.
Yeah.
TR tracks, they're great tracks, don't get me wrong, but that top groove is not as good as the Talladega Nights track.
Right, yeah, because the configuration file for the track surface, it's, oh, we got a spin back there? I see smoke. Even though I can't see cars, this is the most stable core that I think I was flipping.
You do have a caution.
Yeah, we'll go back and take a look at that. Fluid Studios
Involving-
sponsoring your replay screen.
Involved the ASR DC88.
Okay. 88.
Partially involved into it. Saw something as I was going back through that happened in front of him, so I don't think he had a choice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brian Rossum, 94. They got touched together, and fortunate for ASRDC, he had nowhere to go. He was kind of caught up in that one.
Yeah, we could see that in slow-mo from the helicopter view. It's just a little bit of a push in the corner, and with a little bit of a connection flicker, maybe. Send him around. And then everybody vanishes. Like tears in the rain.
Kelly Cos is still the leader. I think he can do about somewhere around 20 laps there. I think they're on 2x pit.
Yeah.
I did kind of try to get some information of that earlier, as we're being a little tight-lipped, but I think at the time they were also practicing on 1x. So he's coming in. He's got Denny Carroll right behind him.
Setting up my pit lane cameras here because we had the issues with the core.
Trying to get an idea. What are they going to take for tires? Kelly Kaza
I'm
only
thinking,
took two.
yeah, a lot of
them
two-tire
just
stops.
took two. Yeah, very a lot of two-tire stops. See, Nate Balser, I'm trying to figure out where he came out. I think he came out just in front of Postal. Van Rosson and a CCR, a CMO. I don't know his. I do know it, but I don't know it. You know, one of those things.
That's Adam Simonic.
Yeah, Simonic.
Yeah, he's in the game as his screen name, but he's in the team speak as his real name.
Yes.
And maybe it's not his real name. Maybe his name's not Adam.
Who knows?
Maybe it's
Maybe
Dale
it's
Earnhardt Jr. in
alias.
disguise. Who knows?
I've actually raced against Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this game.
Who has?
Me.
Really?
Yeah, I raced Truex, Denny Hamlin, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
No way.
No way.
Because I knew
Well,
they
I
used
knew
to
they
use it to practice. So you
There was-
knew their screen name? How did you know it was really them?
His screen name is Unical 66.
Oh, okay.
You know, okay. You learn that stuff. I
Yeah,
went into. They had their own league, and I jumped in and was able to race with them one night.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had nothing for them, but but I did get a chance to race with them.
That's pretty neat. Some more cars ready to head down pit road here.
Guys that stayed out that time by are now coming down pit road to pit.
Yep.
I'm trying to look. I think Pagley. That's Pagley. Yeah. I figured the guys that may see if somebody that actually had pitted on the first time by was actually going to try to win pit. Thinking about it, where we're at now, you can get probably about an average of 19 to 20 lap-ish, and that would literally really depend on where you are on the track and how much you can be able to lift off being behind a bunch of the drivers, because obviously out front you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to lift. Don't think it's a good time to maybe hit the second time by and use that to try to get a strategy to make it the rest of the way. I don't think they can use that kind of as of yet.
Yeah, we were just watching Nate there. He went in into the top up. On board with Nate right there, coming out of the pits, finding the back of the line. Lights are still flashing, so they'll be going around a couple more times. Thanks everybody for watching. We've got about 90 hits on this already this evening, so that was cool. Thanks for staying with us through the technical glitches. We found a core that sort of works. There's still some cars that disappear, but this is the one that works. This is the one we're going to use.
Remember, to error is human. To really mess things up, you need a computer.
Yeah, sometimes you get these technical glitches in behind the scenes. You try to fix the stuff, and there's only so much you can do on the broadcast live because you want to show people what's going on, and it's like, well, you put certain cores in and everything goes haywire, and then you're thinking, well, we can just, I mean, you can see what's going on here, so we can use this.
Remember, we had that same thing with Maverick, just trying to figure out some things with mine. It did the same thing, and then finally, eventually, we come across a combination network.
Yeah, and I don't have an issue with Maverick's core, so I don't understand why that happens sometimes. But it's probably a combination of the settings they're choosing to use on the server side with the clients, but then maybe I've got a weird modem or something. Like, it could literally be something like that, because the core controls the connection to the internet.
No, I ain't got too many problems with mine right at the moment, only because I just barely started everything all over.
Oh, yeah.
Just in my tail this afternoon trying to get everything ready so I could be here tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, though, that you were able to make it. It's a lot of fun doing this stuff. Especially in a new series like this, too.
Yep.
The lights on the FSB-sponsored pace car have been turned off, so next time around, that thing will move out of the way so we can go green flag racing again.
How many cautions have we had? 2? I had that information. I don't have that set up yet.
2 for 8 laps, yes.
Too bad. Let's see if we can get some green flag runs enough to where we can get some green flag pit stuff in. I always liked it. Green flag pit stops at a track like this kind of separates the men's from the boys.
Yeah.
Some people can get in and out of there so fast.
It is, and the hot pitting is under green is very cool to see. Sometimes the running order gets juggled a lot. You're like, guys are going first and second, end up coming out in 7th because it's like, wow, those guys maybe missed their mark or hit it better, or
Slight overshot your pit.
Yep. Under
So
green,
many
that's
things,
horrible. Yeah, under yellow, that's not too bad, but under green, that's a big one, especially at the speeds at this track.
And of course, there's the old, the world famous lock up the left front.
Yeah.
You've got set up to change just right side tires. Yeah, there's so many ways it can go wrong, but there's so many ways it can go right too. Billy Cosmo down on the bottom, Denny Curl on the outside, Ken Roberts. Postal's made his way up there into the 4th position. Finley's back there in that Bandit car. Mark Bagley on the outside in 6th. East Bonham, Randy Wall, Angelardi, and Brian Wolf are our top 10 going ready for this restart. Brian Wolf hasn't really been up the front all that much tonight, but got time. We're not even got really at the 1/3 mark. So
he's been sitting in mid-pack the whole race.
Great launch by Kelly Kaza. Ken Rogers. Why go Rogers? Walters. That was a long time ago. Ken Rogers also got a great start on the bottom.
Roberts.
Carroll. And Denny Carroll kind of fell asleep on the top side there.
It's nap time. Yeah.
But now Keith Bonham found himself, he's down at the bottom with all his friends. But Denny Carroll decided to come down there and join him.
So laps led this evening. One by ASR Berge, one by Brian Wolf, and the other 19 led by Kelly Kazi, your leader.
Got that, smoky unit car out there, so, they ought to be checking that fuel tank when he's done.
Yeah, that brings up a good question. What hasn't Smokey done that you could do?
He's rewritten a lot of the rule books.
Because he dipped. Is he the guy who dipped the car in acid? And
Nope, that was Fensky.
Okay.
One thing he did do was he built a 7/8 scale car.
That was it. A little bit smaller, right? That's
Yep,
funny.
just a little bit smaller. He was actually, yeah, that was a good save
Nice
right there.
save by buying
Actually, one of the
Holy.
first pioneers to start understanding aerodynamics. So one of the things that he did was he started tucking bumpers in, building aerodynamics, manipulating the car so that the body would give it better aerodynamic advantages as either for cutting through the air or adding downforce.
Yeah, perfect. Not against the rules because nobody done it before, right?
Nope. He wouldn't like the rules of nowadays.
So I wonder maybe Kazi's got I don't know. Maybe
I think they
he's
took the
got
basketball out of the
some-
gas tank already.
Yeah, and he probably had a stack of quarters under the gas pedal.
Yeah, plus he probably
Kick
had
that out of the way.
a 2-inch fuel line.
Yeah. So yeah, 2-inch wide, 12-foot fuel line. 11-foot fuel line. Speaking
If
of
you
Brian
ever get a
Wolf,
chance-
they're in 6th place.
If you get a chance, you go on YouTube and there's a show on there kind of called WikiLinks, I think it's called, or something like that. And it's just guys that are race car or driver race car enthusiasts. They have a great story about the things that he did to that car.
Oh, cool.
Brian
Brian Wolf
Wolf,
just big switch to the bottom. It was going to work.
Not a lot of help.
Not a lot of help, yeah.
He's got the help, but they're not right behind
They're
him.
not on them. Yeah,
Gonna.
that's the thing.
As soon as they just kind of get together,
You see from
Postal-
this camera. This camera
Postal
will
and
show
Finley.
it.
Postal and Finley got a little, they separated a little bit from each other. Chuck C now is back there doing that. So top 5 on the outside groove are really good nose to tail. That's the way you're going to go fast.
We have to get confirmation on Chuck T. I think it's Chuck Taylor.
Okay. That I didn't know. I've always known him as just Chuck T.
Yeah, somebody last week called him Chuck Taylor, I think. But either way,
Guys,
Chuck
I got
T
you.
works. There's only one of them, so.
Well, hey, if you guys don't want us to know your name, I mean, leave it up there. Like, that's what we're going to call you.
Yep. Postal currently in the 7 car in the 5th position. That is a busy looking rig. Let's take a look at that one. Whoop. Oh, it's an ASR. AS Racing N2K3.net. The website location for the league, ASR.
Nice looking car.
Thanks to ASR, by the way, for sponsoring this deal, having us in here, Brian Wolf, and of course, David Chin, and Bryant Motorsports. You'll see their logo all over the broadcast throughout the night.
Billy Kaza really, him and Ken Rogers are really, Walter. Yeah.
Roberts.
Roberts, I know. See, we're doing it again.
It's Zach.
Oh my God,
fault.
these guys. That's Zach's fault. We're going to blame Zach.
Because there is a Zach Roberts. That's the problem. There's a Zach
Yeah.
Roberts, which is Ken's nephew, but then there's a Zach Rogers, who is the other, who is Zach Rogers, the other guy.
Yeah, and we get confused sometimes.
Yeah.
The outside groove out there, them guys are they're hanging tight on that outside groove. They really are working well together. It'll be interesting to see what they do when they get down to, 5 to go, whether they stay together or how they start to break it up a little bit. Gonna have to start calling Kelly Kaza the Pied Piper.
Yep. Up to 24 laps led this evening. Balser has one, Wolf has one, and Berge has the other one. No, not really sharing the lead from up front there, Kelly. He's holding it. Focused on Postal because he gives us the widest angle of the whole pack. We work our way back through it there. There's Chuck T in the 18. Right beside him, Mark Paglia in the 28. Nate Balzer beside him. Randy Waugh behind him. Man Gialardi, Keith Bynum. There's Brian Wolf again. Back in 12th now.
Randy Wall, they were trying to get something going on the high groove with Mangialardi.
There's Rawson back there with Mo behind him in that 48.
Never count out that mole guy.
Nope.
He will run around there in the back. Just as quiet as a mouse.
Jax is in 16th off pace. So is... See, I actually have to click on these guys. Their cars don't load up. Where's Bergie?
We lost
back
two drivers.
there with, yeah, back there with 2. Yeah, I actually have to select them on the pull down, otherwise it won't load their cars. But they're together. I mean, 2 cars are faster than obviously being by yourself, so that's still good. Those guys are able to keep about 190 mile an hour, which isn't the top speed of 200, but it's also not the low speed of about, what, 179, 181 if you're by yourself.
And Burge is doing the right thing. He's just tucked right in behind Josh, too.
Oh, Causey just, we looked away for a second here to check out the back of the pack, and Causey's up at the wall, losing all kinds of spots.
Take a look back and found out what happened there, whether it was a bump draft gone wrong, or did he
might have to
decide...
load that up. We just looked there, and he pulled out of the main pack. We'll rewind it here and see what happened.
He literally just... He's thinking now about fuel savings or something?
Yeah, because
Just literally pulled right up.
Yeah, he said something to Roberts because they're on a whisper with each other. You can tell. Because he moved over and Roberts moved the other way in synchronized fashion. So something going on with the 13. And now he's back in 13th out of the draft. Peculiar and perplexing all at the same time.
Very true.
Yellow is up. Okay.
Maybe he knows something we don't know.
Yeah, yellow flag came up. See if we can find the point of yellow here.
Jack's down on the apron. If that's possibly him. Oh, Jax blew up.
Oh, did he? Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, Jax blew up.
I can't see Jax. I can't see Jax. Yeah, I can't. His car won't load in the replay. I can't see him.
It looks like Jax's car just blew up, and he pulled down to the infield, trying to get out of the way, coasting, and didn't kind of get it woed up enough yet. And before somebody else came along, and that was the determining faction that caused the caution.
All right, yeah, his car for me just disappeared, and then it didn't come back. So
he dropped a cylinder or something, and we'll know that here in a little bit.
Yeah, it'll update the ticker here. We'll be able to tell you what happened. Benjamin Snyder in the YouTube chat, along with Danny Carroll and Nate Balser. Benjamin asks, is that 85 a Kodiak throwback? Yes, it actually is. We were talking about that about 20 minutes ago. It's super cool. Check it out.
Josh is ready. Mr. 2.
Yep, he runs a series over there at SMO called the Josh's Eggs Touring Series, also known as Jets. Very clever name. So if you head on over to SMO, Josh runs a series over there. That's a lot of fun.
4 drivers stayed out, including Billy Kaza. So I'm wondering if he's having trouble or... Billy Kaza, Brian Rawson, Brad Odo, and Adam Somanek? Somanek.
Attached currently to Man Giulardi. He's taking us down pit road off the camera arm hanging off the left quarter panel of the car here. Get a neat little view of Talladega.
And you just wrecked the camera bouncing off somebody on pit road.
And he drove right over the official at the end of the lane, too.
Aw, man. No respect for the computer guys. The show, Brian Rawson's got a little bit of damage on the back of his car. So I think he was involved in an earlier incident.
Rawson?
Yeah, Rawson. It may not be a bad thing. Sometimes a little bit of damage on the back of these things will loosen them up, and sometimes makes them faster.
Yeah, it's definitely
Depends on the
damage.
driver.
Taking a look at the damage on the 6 Budweiser machine of Brian Ross, and that thing is crunched. But that, as you can see here, was painted by Rodney Sellens himself.
As long as that doesn't become a parachute, it shouldn't hurt it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Either it's going to be a hindrance because it's sticking so far up there, it might actually collect more air than you want it to. Or it's also tapered, it might help.
Yep.
Now, we all know Rodney likes to paint the driver the driver suits, but he didn't bother doing it this time. Just a white grid.
Oh, Kelly Kaza, Brian Rosson. Josh, too.
Brian Rosson. We can say all kinds of different ways.
Let's see, and Josh 2, Nate Balzer. They've all pitted on the second time around.
Oh, look at that. Denny Carroll in the 41. He's actually got like a chrome bumper. That's cool.
Yeah. An old, it's like it was a Chevy Malibu, but it was a different nose, different name for it.
Right.
Little big nose, not the little 80s. He's got the big wide one.
Robert's got the big Buick. Simonic back up to second place there in the 016. And Brad Otto in first, currently in first in the 47.
Look at that real quick. It almost looks like a 43. It's just a number font. It's kind of a cool font, but I looked at it and I almost said it was the 43, and then I looked at it closely and said, oh, yeah. No, it's not. He's running actually a Chevy Monte Carlo. Old school 76 Chevy Monte Carlo.
Who's that? Otto?
Auto, yeah.
Yeah. The 427 cubic inch written right on the hood.
Back then, they ran the big motors.
Might as well. That's why they built them.
Yeah.
See who else we got in this field here. We got Mark Paglia there in the Quality Care 28. Randy Waugh, 21. There's Postal again, right next to Chuck T.
Rodney says, it is a Chevelle. Rodney Sellens is on the thing, and he says Laguna. Something.
Cool.
Couldn't remember what it was, but Laguna Chevelle. Basically, just had a different kind of the plastic nose, a little different look to it.
Mangialardi got a really cool paint job. That at Napa Auto Parts is always cool looking. Little Thunderbird.
I don't know, not much of an old school one, but it is a cool looking paint.
Yeah, that looks like a more modern style of paint scheme.
Yep.
There's Brian in the 29 driving the Batman car, but Spider-Man's driving it because that makes sense. Got a Marvel character driving a DC Comics car.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Who says?
I think that's the way to do it. And then the Spider-Man costume. That's perfect.
Here's ASR Berge. Ray-Bass Disc Brakes sponsor. And there's Dale Shalinsky in the 94. That was a late addition to this race. Actually, I got sent that car file about an hour or two before the race started, so that was neat. Let's get a better look at that one. I love this stuff, man. Love it. This thing looks old, too. I love it.
That's the old Buick Regal.
Yeah. Just lots of contigs. I was thinking of making a whole car just contigs. Like 9,000 tiny sponsors. The entire paint job.
I'm going to say you have a little bit too much time on your hands.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would just copy and paste them all over the place.
There you go.
I like the mods too that employed the ability to color the hubs, because they're the original Cup mod with this thing that launched in late 2002. Look at me go. They didn't do any of that stuff. You couldn't color the hubs.
Now some of the later ones, they actually have the brake rotors will glow.
Really?
Oh yeah.
In iRacing, yeah.
No, I know, but they did all that. Like there was Arcasim where was one that did that, but basically what it is as the cars go a certain speed, they change color, and then it changes. Yeah. This doesn't really have any dramatic effect other than, it's kind of an aesthetic thing that kind of makes it look like it glows.
Like a texture change. Like that's why they have 3 speeds when you're painting a car in this simulator. Yep. There's 3 speeds of a tire when you're parked, when it's rolling, and then when you're at full speed.
Exactly that.
Make it look blurry.
Danny Carroll and Randy Waugh on the outside there on that restart. We know those guys are going to work together.
Yeah.
You've got Ken Roberts and Mark Paglia. Those guys are going to work together. So 2 guys, they're going to work together side by side, fighting for the lead. We're just past the halfway point.
Yeah, and then you got Chuck T on the outside and Pulse right beside him. So, like, where do they go? Do they want to be with each other? So it's... We know these guys, but we don't know if these guys know the other guys, and who do they like to race with, You've
got guys from ASR, RPM, some of the guys from the old Talladega Nights, some of the guys, different leagues. SMO.
Yep.
You got guys from all kinds of different leagues that are over here racing in this. There's some guys from CCR. I gotta think of all the leagues right off the top of my head, but they're all coming here on Sunday night just to race and have fun. 3 wide.
Yep.
Andy Waugh on the high side. A little big push from Nate Balzer. Alex Moe, the guy that we said we haven't talked much about him. As we're getting down there, you keep an eye on that car, because that car will be near the front.
Yep.
Bottom groove they got a little bit more of a better run because they could have the more of the track.
Now you get a wide angle on this here. It turned into a 3 wide, about 2 or 3 rows deep.
Yep.
Post trying to find a spot. I'd say you stay where you are. That's my choice, because you're coming up. These guys are going to run the middle. The middle's always the fastest way.
That's where they've been. The guys that are up front that have been running really good. Paglia is dropping down. He see the run coming from Keith Bynum, so he thought maybe if he can get down there, he can use Keith Bynum to push him out there and get his lap back. Denny Carroll, Randy Waugh, like Paglia. Saw Finley involved in that.
Yeah, we'll load up a replay here. It looked like, I saw Randy go around. It might have been somebody trying to change lanes. Go in a helicopter view here, and into a replay we go.
Coming off the corner, just gone wrong, really. To the back of Randy Waugh. Nate Balzer didn't, it was a very, very slight bump. And then that sent Randy Waugh across the traffic, and it just got a little bit crazy from there.
Yeah. He's kind of just slid off the nose, eh?
Yeah, barely. And Kelly Kozla was involved in it a little bit. I think he slowed down quite a bit, but I'm not sure how much damage he got. Figure out who's going to be in the lead here. Ken Roberts is going to be out front.
Yeah, I'm going to say it looks like Roberts.
Here's our Postal. Paglia, Keith Bynum, and Mangialardi are top 5 right now. Only 3 drivers out of the race as of current. Hopefully none of them fall out after this incident.
The update on Jackson ended up just being straight up engine failure of the piston.
Yep.
These guys will head to the pits.
I'd say there's going to be about 25 laps to go. You're close to the point where you can make it. In 2 pit stops. I don't think you're going to. But the thing of it is probably with me, what I would do is I'd pit on the second time by and take 4 tires and fuel. You got nothing to lose. You're going to be in the back by doing that. And then you've got the ability to maybe make it on 2 stops, but just a quick gas and go near the end.
Yeah, you want that final pit stop to be lickety split.
Or Kelly Kaz was trying to come into his pit there, and it just didn't work out well for him as he was coming in because he was further back in the pack. People were coming out. It kind of slowed him up a little bit going in. Keeping an eye, and he is taking 4 tires. I think that's, to me, that's a smart call. Take 4 tires here. You may only have to take. I'd only take 2 in the next if it should happen to go green flag pit stop. I always only take 2 tires under green flag pit stop. That way, if a gun jams, they can still figure it out.
Yeah, it's always a possibility too. I forget about those pit road mishaps.
Oh yeah. Ryan Wolf back out front, hasn't pitted yet this time. That Mule Oldsmobile.
That's the thing. Like
They
get those points for lead a lap. Get those 5. He's got 2 of them now led tonight, so he's good to go. Otto's got 1, so does Balser. 6 led by Roberts. 1 led by Berge, and then 27 laps led by Kelly Kazi. Kazi currently back in 17th position.
Not sure what his strategy is, whether he had, something go wrong, or maybe he just decided to try a different strategy. Be interesting to see when we get done, if he finishes in the top 3, we'll ask him about that.
Yeah, it was weird because he pulled out a line, and he just went to the back, and he was actually out of the draft.
Ryan Wolf, Ryan Rosson, let's see, Josh 2. They've come down pit road. Nate Balser's come along with them. There was some cars that stayed out.
Because if you come in now, you're good to go to the end, right?
No.
2X is what, 20-ish?
20, probably 19 laps.
Yeah, so they're about, what, 6 short? Yeah.
So that's why I say pit the second time by. And I'm not like you. I wouldn't want to run near the front. I would rather run near the back. Save fuel, you know what I mean? If you go to the back and can save more fuel than anybody else, maybe it would be close. You know what I mean? But you might be able to make it with just 1 pit stop. But if you do happen to make a pit stop, half a can's better than a full can.
Yeah. Much quicker.
And you can do it. You can do the old, now you got the Burton deal where they used to have a rule for the qualifying for the All-Star race. Okay, and then that wasn't qualifying, but it was for the All-Star race where you had to do. They did so many laps, and you had to make a pit stop in that segment.
Oh.
You could go the distance without pitting, but you had to pit. You had to take 4 tires, and then you had, by the end of sometime during that segment, you had to do that. So when did they do it? Last lap. The pit stop was just before the start-finish line. So they went out there, blistered all out, and they jumped down in there, pit 4 tires on it, drove forward 20 feet, and won the race.
Nice.
Yep.
Just checking out Shalinsky's car here. He's got some bad damage on the back too.
Yeah, he's got some, his spoiler, we looked at roll sounds earlier, and it looked like a point. His has got some weird angles and stuff going on.
Yeah, he's got weird separation.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
Looks it looks like he just backed into a dumpster.
Yeah.
There's no dumpsters out there though, so I don't know.
I don't know. That's pretty hard lift.
Yeah.
Lucky they can fuel that thing.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta remember the fuel tanks in there.
Oh. A lot of times when the damage gets onto the left rear, it damages the fuel filter filler, so they can't do that. Pace car lights are out on the pace car. Have Adam Sonomic. Yeah, I can't say that name right.
Adam Simonic.
Simonic. Why can't I say his name right? Adam Simonic out in the lead. Him, Brad Otto, I believe Ed Finley did not pit.
No. Finley, I was going to mention that. Finley is the only car on the track. He's only pit 3 times. Everybody else has 4 or more.
But the 3 cars that are currently in the lead right now have not pitted. Kind of what Rogers has pitted. Everybody else behind him has pitted. Now, is tires going to make that big of a difference here? No. If these guys can work together, get together in a good, decent line, tires are not going to make that bit of difference at this point.
So you're saying the next pit stop's going to be a fuel stop only? I guess it depends what you've done with tires all race too, though.
So, the TR version, in theory, okay, you could go the whole distance and not change a tire.
Right.
As long as you didn't slide it. Would it make a difference, by lap 60 to 66, in handling? Yes.
Yeah.
But, so a lot of guys will go in, well, if you're going to take a full 2 cans of fuel, you can take 4 tires in that amount of time.
Right.
A lot of guys will just take 2. Never hurts to have fresh tires on the car.
No.
Pace car is down here.
Alternate 2 tire swap from left to right?
Every time.
So
I
you go
always
2
do.
left, 2 right, 2 left, 2 right?
Some people don't, but it's what I've always done.
Yeah. Going green here at the beginning of lap 44.
Bit of a gap. But that's not necessarily going to be a good thing. Although he gets down in front of Otto, so because he was the leader, so he chose the outside.
Yep.
Now, just going to say, now what they need to do is they need to get up there in front of Ken
Plan
Rogers.
that.
Plan that. They need to get up there because they're not going to be able to get that run off on the bottom side.
You want to command that middle lane because that's going to be the quickest way around here. I mean, at the start of a run, it's not going to be because you're not up to speed yet. But once you start wailing, then it's.
Yep, I was just going to say, Rogers got right in there, got into the back of Otto a little bit, give him a little shove, get him going. But you notice that Ken didn't pull down there and try to go by him. Why? You can't. You're not up to full speed yet. You had to. It takes about 3/4 of a lap really to kind of get up to speed. What helps when somebody's back there pushing you a little bit, giving you little nudges. That'll help you get it up to speed.
Oh, Bynum. We're lining up to push Finley with Postal, then Bynum tipped out a little bit. Now they're splitting them. Finley got caught in the middle. We were just kind of watching that because there's a little bit of separation from the main pack.
Postal just kind of got out of there and got in the 5th spot behind Mangialardi.
He found a great pocket, and then, of course, he's soaking up, 6 cars worth of draft in front of him.
Yep.
Simonic leading this thing in the 016.
Now, the question is,
disqualified. Oh, the whole list, the whole ticker just went weird.
Oh, okay.
Brian Rawson is showing disqualified, and everybody's a lap down right now. Somebody hit a wrong button, I think. So the ticker next time around actually might show some funny. Yeah, it's got Rawson in first, and everybody is a lap down. So something happened. We're gonna have to wait on that.
That is very weird.
Yeah, and he was disqualified, and then he just got retired. We'll shut the ticker off for a second here. We'll let this thing. An administrator might have hit a lap button or something. Added a lap to Rawson, and because a lot of the admins will have the hotkeys, right? So if you hit the wrong button, sometimes you give a lap to someone, and then you have to kind of take it away, and then a lap later it'll reset itself.
So while we were trying to figure that out there for a minute, Keith Bynum and Billy Cosley got on that high groove.
Yep. Yeah, we watched that while we were also trying to figure out the stats situation. Bynum to the lead with Kazi behind him. So Kazi jumps out of the line, goes to the back, but now he's right back up here in row 2 again.
I wonder,
Keith Bynum to the front.
I wonder if he did that out of a fuel mileage concern, you know? Keith Bynum's kind of playing both lines. He's kind of running the high side, running the bottom line when he can, trying to get, you know, a little bit of a run and keep everybody behind him. You have to be a little bit cautious about doing that, because if you time that wrong, it could end very badly for you.
Yeah. This lap by here, the ticker should be good to go. I'll give the ticker one more reset here in about 10 seconds.
So now if you want to see what Keith Bynum's looking at, you know, if you went into his car right now and you want to see what Keith Bynum's looking at, you just turn the camera around and have it look backwards. That's all he's looking at. He ain't looking forward. He's just looking behind him and trying to keep the guys that are behind him behind him.
Yep, keep those guys in the rearview mirror.
Superspeedway racing at its best once you get out there. Simonic kind of just was down at the bottom. Slight opening came up in behind Kelly Kaza, so he decided to run up there and take that, knowing that, you know, that's probably going to be the better bet for him. Rogers down at the bottom with Mangialardi trying to make something happen. ASR Burgess kind of shuffled out there to drop back a bit out to the 12th position. Josh 2 still in this thing. He's back here just the backside of this lead draft. Josh is a Pontiac. Now he's actually got a Lumina. I didn't realize that. He does not have the Pontiac like they did. So he's running, if he's running the Lumina, he's running the old Ken Schrader version.
The 016 of Simonic has no help. He just got shuffled out. Lost about 10 spots almost right there.
That's what happened to, I think it was ASR Burgess that got shuffled out there a bit back. Now we still got about 16 laps to go. Well, that's getting down to it. So these guys are going to start shuffling and trying to figuring out their positions and where they want to be.
10 spots, you went down to 13th.
Yep. They're gonna start working on it. Business is gonna start picking up just a little bit more. Get down. Oh, Kazi just got, I think, a bump draft gone wrong.
Will that be a yellow flag? No. Green is still up.
One of the things they were talking about in the drivers' meeting a little bit earlier, if I remember, I think it was Brian Ross and Brian Wolf was talking about that gets down to it. Now we weren't there yet, with like about 15 or so to go. Some of these they may not call cautions, depending on how it ends out.
Yeah, because they let the game run.
Yep.
The cautions, and because of how that happened. Take one more look at it.
But
the contact happens and they spin off the racing line so that they're not in anybody's way. They won't pull out the yellow.
But another car coming by later on, one of those guys pulls off from that, the inside of the track out, could have brought the yellow out.
That's surprising though, because Kazi is actually like sideways above that yellow line, right in front of Mangialardi. But the game decided to keep it green.
Keith Bynum is still out there in the front.
Wait a second. The yellow is out now.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry.
I just looked at the broadcast and noticed it was up yellow. So was the yellow the cause? Maybe they forced it.
Well, like I said, if they're down in the grass like that,
right,
and everybody's gone by, they're fine. You got a few cars out there that were, maybe a little bit further back.
That's true.
They come along with one of those guys actually got it straightened out, kind of pulled back out. That would have brought up the yellow.
And if he's going like 80 mile an hour, 100 miles an hour under like pace speed or like minimum speed kind of thing, and then you got about half a lap, I think. But once they get within about half a lap, they could pull that yellow out.
Everybody, and I do mean everybody,
even me,
the pace car is on pit road.
And me.
Nope, I take that back. Ed Finley decided to stay out. He was the only one that stayed out.
Snuck around. Let's see.
I snuck around because I was whipping through the field and trying to decide who's doing what.
See, Finley still has only pitted 3 times.
Oh, big crash on pit road.
Uh-oh.
Postal's involved. Ken Roberts.
Okay, we'll get on Postal here. Sorry, we're in an instant replay. Let's hit that button. Oh, wow. Yeah, we can't really see it with all the...
Keith Bynum coming out. Ken Rogers trying to go in. But Postal kind of come into that situation. A little bit of contact.
Oh, Roberts got rear-ended.
Ken Roberts was around.
Oh,
Keith Bynum got
no.
lucky that he was able to make it out of that. Postal ended up, who hadn't even pitted yet, ended up spinning around. I don't know if he got towed in or whether he called it a night. Don't see him on the track, so Postal disconnected. So unfortunately, that's another one down for the night.
Yeah. Fifth flag of the evening. There's your pole sitter, the 79 of Nate Balzer. Roddy Sullen's in the chat. About 15 minutes ago, we responded to us talking about the paint jobs. Next time I'm out there, Blaine, you can nitpick my black rifle Nova. I took a base Nova template and changed the bumpers, the spoilers, the bumpers, the spoilers, the grill, the headlights, along with the shading and some other small things. That's cool. Added some newer chrome wheels. You won't see them until Wolf allows more files. I think if you ask Wolf, he'll let you add some files. This core drives me crazy. Yeah. Brian Rawson in the YouTube chat says, I will not be back.
Not sure what happened to him there, but
That's the problem with the core issues that we're having is it doesn't like the contact, because when they get into an accident, they disappear for like 20 seconds. So I can't see the flips. Once the car gets off the track, they tend to disappear. So the guys guys have damage, and I have no idea why. Because we were rolling around Rawson's car, and he had the damage to the rear end of that thing and the trunk lid, and we don't know why because we never saw it. Once the car gets into a spin, they tend to go real jittery, and then they just kind of go invisible.
we'll have to get with Brian. And
we've been working on it. Yeah, I don't know what the problem
have to get with him and do some like mock broadcasting or something.
Yeah, we'd have to do a run. It only seems to happen during the race because it's fine in practice. Even when there's 15 guys drafting, it looks great. But in the race scenario, something's wrong. I don't know what it is. It's the only league I've ever had an issue connecting to their server and having these. Are you getting the same thing, Rod?
Nope. Not at all. That's why I'm saying we should try to do that and just try different things because I've got, not only do I have a Maverick core, I got a Hobo core, I've got,
Are you able to send me the core right now?
Sure.
I wonder if I want to do this right now, though. Send it to me on Facebook. I might be able to pull it off. There's 10 laps left. I don't want to mess this up, though. I mean, at least we are able to see stuff right now. There goes Finley. He's headed down. Headed down to the pits for his 4th pit stop finally. Join us here on Tuesday as we head back to the Maverick Cup Series at Daytona. The only race... We race with Maverick every single Tuesday, but not in July. They only got the one race in July. There's 5 Tuesdays in July, and they're only doing one of them. And that'll be in a couple days. The July 8th at 8:30, we go live with them. See, and you said you were using the Maverick core.
I believe so.
Yeah, see, and I've got the Maverick core too, obviously. We broadcast from Maverick. I wonder how different the Maverick core is. Like, we'd have to talk to Benjamin to see how much has actually changed, because there's just kind of a generic core that was decided a long time ago. A broadband internet came around where it just sort of works.
That one I sent you is the Hobo core. I'm gonna try. I've run it through everything with the exception of the Maverick deal, only because, with they're running their own core, sometimes running their same core is the only way to go.
Yeah, and I don't know, like you say, that it's basically just an internet connection deal.
Yep.
It sends packets, it takes packets in, and then there's a whole bunch of finesse in there, and guys will change things and test it out. But I mean, we've figured now, like broadband internet's been around 20, 30 years almost. Like we've kind of figured out that a long time ago, where it should be pretty stock, Custom cores through the different leagues won't really change too much.
So, where pace car's lights are out, we're on a backstretch. We've got we're going to have 11 laps to go when we get to the start-finish line.
Guess who's in first?
Yeah, just going to say, guess who's leading this thing? the guy that I didn't know he was in there, and I snuck in under there. I think one of the better got to get rid of that number. I mean, but the better paint schemes that out there tonight. I'm sorry, I'm biased. I'm a Mike Skinner fan, but and we're getting down to this thing. We got to have about 11 laps to go, and Alex Moe is out front. Got some tough company around him. Angelardi on the outside there, Nate Balls are behind him. Josh 2. Keith Bynum's big. He's led a few. Denny Curl's always really good at these super speedways. Mike Paglia right behind him, great at super speedways as well. Chuck T, I don't know well enough. And then Randy Waugh right behind Paglia there. Some of the good, and then Ryan Wolf. I don't know what his pedigree is on super speedways, but
Nate off the track, holding on to it, but Nate just got cycled out onto the apron. Unfortunate for Nate. Good save, but unfortunate.
11 laps to go. He's got a little bit of time to make it up if everything goes well. Alex Moe up there running that second groove, as everybody has pretty much run all night. Angelardi, Josh 2, Denny Carroll right behind him. Sneaking up there behind Keith Bynum.
Thanks again to Bryant Motorsports for sponsoring the broadcasts of this series. 8 races. Most points at the end of the 8th wins the championship. It's easy peasy.
All you got to do is get the more points than everybody else.
Just show up every day, man. You don't even need to win a race. Like if you can consistently just get top 5s, you can take this thing.
There's a lot of guys that like these just super speedway racing style, series. Not for me. Can't hold my breath that long.
Look at that push. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Bynum with a great push on the 41. But Carroll stayed in line. He didn't pull out there to go high or low. Such a great spectator camera here too. I love this. And our clips on Reddit make some custom camera packs of these tracks, and I love this Talladega camera pack.
If you're
One cam file.
If you're buying Wolf back there and you decide that you're gonna want to make a move. See, that's where Denny Carroll went to the high side. They're gonna try to do something there. I just don't see it happening with this version of Talladega.
Yeah, you're very familiar with the different versions, and this is not a high side track.
Not a third groove track. The only way you're going to make that work is you're going to get up there and start pushing the people that are behind him down and slowing them down. You've got to take Alex Moe, Mangialardi, Josh 2, and Chuck T, and you've got to separate them.
Yeah, like you were saying too, the Talladega Nights is a 3-groove track all day long. They really worked on the setup and the track configuration too to make sure that was you could go anywhere if you had help.
Angelardi is literally on the straightaways. He is just putting the bumper out of Alex Moe. It's going to keep him out front by keeping him doing that.
I really get a great look at it now coming down the back straightaway. Mangialardi right underneath that spoiler, 2 right on him. Great push into the corner. Good timing on that one.
Now, if you're Josh too, what are you back? You're thinking, are you thinking, oh man, I'm in a great spot, I can win this thing? Or are you, being smart like Josh 2 is? I bet you that if unless something happens to where he thinks he's going to be able to get down there and do an advantage, he's probably going to stay right there, 3rd place. It's a long series. I mean, granted, only 8 races, but still, that's a long ways to go. Don't know where he finished last week. Good finish for him. That's going to help him in points.
I find Josh is similar to me, right? Like you're kind of just content being consistent with the couple of, like, if you get in the groove with these guys, he's just going to stay there.
Yep.
But like you said, if you get a run, you got to go for it too. Like, everybody wants to win, but you also don't, you also rather finish third than 12th. So
you make the move. Chuck T goes with you.
Yeah.
Chuck T and everybody behind you advantage you. We've seen this happen tonight, all night. He's going to be back there in 13th, 14th position before he knows it.
Or it's like, then you're thinking about the guy behind you. If Josh is thinking about Chuck, well, who's Chuck got behind him? If Josh goes to the right and then Chuck's got Brian and they go to the left, well, Josh is toast.
Casa back there, he's looking, he's poking his nose out there, but you're not going to do this on your own. There's no way one driver is going to drop down there and just pull out and just pull away from everybody. You got to do it as a team or teammates. You got 4 cars up there, 5 cars up there running nose to tail really, really, really tight. How are you going to beat those? You're going to need 8 guys.
And Kelly Causey will get the most laps led tonight. He's got 27, so he's led a lap, got the most laps. Might not win, but lots of bonus points for him.
He got Simonic out of the way. I'm not really sure how he did it. I kind of looked back there, then I looked back again, and he kind of moved him out of the way a little bit. I don't think he, bumped him or anything. I just kind of forced him out of the way.
Oh, Paglia looking outside with Causey and Carroll. But again, not a 3-groove track. Unless you've got a whole pile of cars up there, it's not going to.
See, now what they were doing there, they're kind of separating Brian Wolf a little bit. They're the guys in front of him moving. See, now what happened? Brian Wolf got pushed down a little bit. Now he's got himself forced down to go to the bottom side. This is not going to be good for those guys that are in the 3rd groove per se, because the only way that 3rd groove is going to work really well is you got to have 2 grooves underneath them. Can't give the guys in the bottom room to be able to come up. Chuck T's looking a little bit. We're getting down to about 4 laps to go here.
Brian will go, man. He likes the bottom. Chuck, I wonder, with 4 laps left here.
A lot of racing. They're starting to get a little bit more side by side behind them. People are trying to just jockey for position here. Just trying to figure out how. You're not going to win it if you're staying nose to tail. You got to get out. You got to step out. You got to figure out how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you could lose positions doing it, but you got to go for that net gain. You got to hope that it works out. Plus, you got to figure out what are the guys are going to do up there. What's Mangialardi going to do? What's Josh 2? Oh, Danny Carroll gets a little help from Keith Bynum. More look like just a push gone
Another
wrong.
wreck behind them.
Oh, no.
That'll bring out yellow. That may end the race.
Brian Wolf just got tagged a little bit by Paglia, but what a save.
Bynum is on fire. Okay, we got all kinds of stuff going on here.
Brian Wolf got tagged by Paglia, but he saved it. I mean, he got it sideways, saved it. He lost a little bit of time, but he saved it. I think they're under yellow, so they're racing back right now. Racing back to the line. When you get down to less than 10 to go, they race back, just like they used to. Look at Toole. Oh, he was making a move. He's going down. Now he's gone to the bottom. Oh, it's going to be close. I think Geraldi's going to. Oh, there's going to be 3 wide going over the line.
Almost 4 going over the line.
Now,
I forgot about the race back, too.
Paglia beat Josh 2 to the line on the outside.
Okay, we got to watch that. I'll go back and look at the wreck after. I forgot about the race back.
Paglia beat him by 1/100th of a second to the line, and that's probably going to be for that 3rd place position.
Oh, he beat 2.
Yeah, Josh 2 to the line. He had help from Kelly Caza. They went to the high side, rolled it out. You know as well. It's going to be. This is for the race. This is the race win. Pull the high side. A great push by Kelly Caza.
So
Kelly Caza is just pushing it. And that makes it so that Paglia actually beats Josh 2 to the line.
Wow, so Caza was able to push Paglia past.
Basically right there as you finish the race.
Wow, that's your podium finish. That's your podium finish.
That
The
is
push
absolutely
at the
crazy.
perfect time from the 13 on the 28. Shoots him past the 85. Yeah, we're showing...
Wait,
Yeah, an exact
Wait.
100th.
Paglia's pitting.
What?
Paglia is driving down road right now.
Why is he doing that? Okay. Yeah, because that's that's the flag, but so we're looking at 2 right now in 4th. He's going to cross the line and go back up to 3rd again. What did Mark do? What is Mark? What is he?
Not sure. That just gave Josh 2 the 3rd place position.
Yeah. He didn't even. He went in for gas. Was he going to run out of fuel?
Not sure.
Maybe. Paglia. He's pit 8 times according to the stats printout. So he should have been good to go on gas. Well, let's wait and see. Maybe Alex Mole will pit.
I'm not thinking that's going to happen. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. Yeah, that was... We were looking... I mean, I was looking at the accident that brought the yellow out.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, it's race back. I'm like, oh, yeah, it is. So then I had to get back to live mode and look at that. And then you saw the podium change at the last second. And it was actually an even 100th, I think. And
Billy Cosum out front most of the night. He's going to finish in 4.
It's crazy. I wonder why Paglia pit.
That's a strange one. Chuck
It's
T's
got
going to
him.
finish. He's going way in the back.
Yeah.
Chuck T's going to finish in the 5th position. ASR Burge in the 6th.
Where's Bergie? There he is.
Brian Wolf going to end up in the 7th after that wonderful save. Brad Otto going to be out there in the 8th position. Ned Finley going to be 9th. Pretty good night for him. Ken Roberts, he ran up front most of the night. He's going to finish the top in the top 10.
With one more lap to go at the line. So look at the first place. Yep, Manny Gilardi, 2. Kazi, Chuck T, Bergie Wolf, Otto Finley, Roberts, Shalinsky, Randy Waugh with a dent in the roof, Simonic, Balser.
Paglia, the last car running.
And I can't
I know
get
was in Kenny Carroll retired, Postal retired, Brian Rosson retired, Ajax dropped the piston. I think he dropped the gear into the 3rd, which caused the piston to go out the top. ASR DC88, and finishing off our field tonight is going to be John Godfrey.
Yeah, unfortunately for Godfrey, he was out very early. So was Chin. Yeah, Jax Ross and Postal Carroll and Bynum. Yeah, Bynum got caught up in that last wreck there. We saw him hit the wall and his engine actually just exploded as it was spewing black smoke pretty quick after that accident, unfortunately. And Denny was caught in the same wreck. Mysterious why I don't know why Mark went to the pits. Got the podium finish at the line, but because the yellow flag obviously does not end the race, the checkered flag does. Technically, it's still not over.
No, I mean, most motor could blow up. I've seen that happen under caution.
Yeah.
I've been a victim of that.
Yeah, you put enough laps down on this simulator, it will bite you sometimes.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, yeah, you just shred all your gears on the last.
I guess we got to find out if Mark Paglia is a Mark Martin fan. Did you ever see that race?
That one? No.
Okay. Mark Martin was leading the race at Bristol. Caution flag came out with 1 lap to go. he pulled down pit road. He thought that they put the checkered out, which wasn't the checkered, it was the white. And he lost the race to Green, one of the Green brothers. I can't remember his name right now, but
No way.
yep.
And that's professional racing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Well, your winner, the 48 of Alex Moe. And your podium will be followed up with Mike Mangialardi and Josh 2 in the 85. Kelly
Give them a
Causey
minute.
up in 4th.
Give them a minute to get out the seatbelts, out of the seatbelts, but let's see if we can get our hands on to, Josh 2. We get to interview Josh 2 tonight. Finishing 3rd tonight, and we're still confused at how I utmost faith in you, but you got beat to the line by Mark Paglia by a good push on the outside, and then Paglia pits and gives you the 3rd position tonight, Josh, too. Very proud of you, very happy for you. Tell us a little bit about how your night went.
Oh, it was pretty good. I started up close to the front and then decided I didn't really want to be there. And I went to the back and hung out back there. And then that last pit stop, I needed some track position, and so I was able to get that and come out up toward the front. And when the yellow came out, we were trying to just do something, and Paglia got to my outside, and I think it was 1/1000. He beat me to the line.
Yes.
But he pitted because he thought I think he thinks he was involved in some kind of incident that happened.
Okay.
In there. So anyway.
Oh, he thought he was responsible for the... Huh.
Maybe that's what it was. Okay. Makes a little more sense.
Yeah, that makes way more sense now, because we don't... Yeah, because I got a messed up core. I could go back and look at that replay. I'll save the replay and definitely go back and look at that. That's interesting. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
So how far are you from getting your wife back into racing?
Let's see. She ran
Fun race.
She ran Daytona.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
And she had a faster lap than me in practice. And anyway,
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is my first time coming over here tonight. SMO was off tonight, and so I hopped over here and gosh, saw a ton of familiar faces from all kinds of leagues.
Josh keeps reminding me that SMO runs and sending me messages, and I've had to tell him my wheel's been sitting on the ground for a long time and have not had a chance to put it back in. And I will tell you, Josh, a lot of that's just due to my real racing.
Right.
This is my first broadcast over here tonight for the ASR Superspeedway series, and only because my real racing doesn't let me get home in time. So.
Right, I understand.
And they got a great league over there, a great group of guys. Love racing with you guys over there. But that's not a bad thing. Did you race last week? So
no, I didn't run the race last week. Tonight was my first night. And,
so you're just over here for fun more than not going out there for the 8 race series championship then.
Yeah, I won't be able to go for that. I did have a lot of fun, and honestly, when I really thought I had a shot at it. And if things had played out differently, I think I would have. But, I mean, that's just how it goes. The drafting and where the help is. And, I think Mike Mangialardi pulled out, and that kind of stall. It just, anyway. I ended up where...
We were talking about how, when you go, or do you go, and if you go, because... You never know. You make that move. Yeah. I think if you had Chuck T right behind you there a little bit, and I'm like, well, if you make that move, is making that move gonna, assure that you're gonna go, or are they just gonna leave you out to dry? And I was just saying, I think the smartest thing that you do is, you stay right where you are.
Yeah.
It ended up working out for you too. So
yeah, it did, and that's the thing. I knew the drivers in front of me, and I didn't know the drivers behind me, which kind of makes it tough because I don't know for sure, but I think if Mike had been behind me and I moved up, he would have gone with me. I think, you know how it is when you used to, because I've raced with Mike a lot, and I was just going to stick with Mike. I had kind of decided, I bet Mike will make a move at the end, and I'm just going to kind of hold where I'm at and not do anything crazy, because doing something crazy could take me to the back. So.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. I raced with you enough to know that you're gonna choose the smarter move that's gonna work best for you.
Yeah.
Not like that. Make that mean that way. I mean, you're a smart enough driver to know that you pull out now, there's a chance you're gonna be 14th before you know it.
Yeah. Well, and I thought in my head, 3 to go will be a good time to. If we're gonna do something, we probably need to start it about then. But
right, if you have the help, yeah.
If we have the help, and I didn't really know, and Alex and Mike, I've raced with them for years, and I have a lot of respect for them, and they're just great guys, and so I didn't want to hurt their finishes either. So I was happy where I was at, and then the yellow came out, and there was a line. I'm sure you guys called it up high. There was a high line that started coming, and I tried to pull up with them, and they were already past my wheel, and so I had to pull back down, and I don't know. We just ran out of time to do anything. But I'm happy with third, and happy for those two guys too. Like I said, I've raced with them and been friends with them for a long time.
But the thing of it is most of those guys that are up there trying to work the line are the guys that race at like the Talladega Nights track, which we know to be a great track for a good 3-wide racing. But the other problem that you have with that is the TRC series tracks are all known for a good, decent bottom groove, a great middle groove, not much of a high groove.
Yeah, I've toyed around with that earlier in the race. I tried about 3 lines, and I got kind of surprised. I learned something from that, because I said, well, I'm not coming back to this line because it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And we were laughing at one point, because the top 7 or 8 we all raced together way back at Talladega Nights, and I just thought it was funny. I was like, man, here we all are.
Yep.
So
all right, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to thank the people that you want to thank to get you here and whatnot, and we're gonna try to get down to the Mr. Mangialardi there. So the floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys are top notch and always do a great job, and I was excited, about you guys. I was trying to decide what to do tonight, and I saw you guys were broadcasting, and I was like, well, I know that'll be good. And I appreciate the Brian and putting the league on, and the drivers in the field. Like I said, I know most of these people from different leagues and different things, and just got a lot of friends in here. And Chris Aiken painted this car. I've always liked this old car, the old Aero 88 car, and so I appreciate him painting it. And
I was going to bring that up. That thing's awesome.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a throwback to the Kodiak car.
Yep.
But it's a chicken, of course, on the hood. So
yeah, super cool.
but yeah, no, I just appreciate everybody. I feel like everybody raced me clean, and I just had a fun night. And like I said, finishing behind Alex and Mike is a great night, because those two guys are great. And I hadn't raced with Alex in a while, but I see Mike pretty often, and he's really good here. So to finish right behind him, I'm pretty thrilled with that. And I've got Josh's eggs on the car, of course. I don't know if you shouted it out at any point, but
a couple of times.
There you go. Okay, and joshseggs.co. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Josh. Awesome run, bud.
Are you going to be here next week, or?
I don't think I'll be. I think I'll be out of town, actually.
Okay. And the other good thing about Josh's eggs, I have them on low for my carts that are out in the garage.
I know. I appreciate that.
There you go. Our third place fisher tonight, Josh, too. What?
You can't be gone next week, Josh. Who's going to push me?
I know, right? Look, Mike, I know when we do qualifying, I'm going to watch and Mike's name will pop up right in front of me. Mike, there we go. Everything's right.
As our third place finisher tonight, Josh, too. Glad to see him out there. We'll catch you on the flip side. Hopefully, I'll get back over there some SMO racing. I remember when we first did the broadcast, we kept messing that up. Congratulations on your third place finish.
Thank you so much.
So tonight, our second place finisher. Love racing against this guy. We've had a lot of fun in the AR 88 series when we raced there. Go over to Talladega Nights. A lot of fun racing with him. A lot of bumper, a lot of bumping, banging, pushing, but good, clean pushing and banging. Mr. Mangialardi, our second place finisher. You ran up front, off and on most of the night. Tell us a little bit more how your night went.
I thought it went well.
I thought it went well.
Pit stops went well. Had a couple falters on restarts, but I made up for those.
Yeah, you got behind Alex Moe there at the end. Yeah, like you said, you were been running most of the night, kind of near the front. Got out around there. Just this track is being a TR track. The second groove is the better way to go. The bottom groove's there, but it is a little harder. You need to get a few more cars down the bottom. We see some of the guys that run the Talladega Nights track trying to get up there and making that third groove work. And, on a TR track, that's not going to work. But you managed to get up there and run all night. The Napa car looked really, really good tonight. Bryant Blaine, you got anything for him?
Oh, man, thanks for covering me too, Rod, because I'm kind of working behind the scenes getting everything going here. But yeah, such a fantastic race tonight too with you guys. We thought it was going to come down to some pit strategy, but we were kind of wondering why Paglia went to the pits. But we'll talk with Brian about that later. But yeah, man, no, it's great. You didn't lead any laps tonight, but are you able to make most of these races? It's being an 8-week season.
Yeah, I should be able to make them all.
Yeah, right.
I had to rearrange some scheduling. So.
Yeah, the points, the way that Brian's
unforeseen circumstances, that is.
Yeah, the way that Brian is collecting the points here is kind of neat. Where it's like, yeah, as long as you consistently show up every week and you do what you did tonight and get like top fives, the championship could be sitting there for you.
Yeah, I was getting ready to make a move there, and just before that caution came out.
I was wondering if you were going to try to, or are you just going to be content behind Alex Moe?
Yeah, well, I had to wait until I saw Josh getting a run before I did it. So
Josh said something. Thought you might go, and he said if you did, he was going with you.
Well, we are always on the edge of our seats at the last 10 laps, 5 laps. We got these scenarios in our heads like, oh, what if he goes that way? What if the other two guys go the other way? Like, we never know what's going to happen. It's always so exciting to watch these things wind down.
Yeah, I just knew I couldn't go too early on Alex Moe.
No. We were talking about, didn't even know Alex was in the field very much. And then all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, there's a familiar paint scheme. I got a go-kart hanging on the wall that has that same scheme on it. And I'm like, oh, it's Alex Moe. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Just keep your eye on him. You ain't going to see him for a while. But then he'll be up here. Don't worry.
Yeah, I had a plan, but I was waiting for him to block me, which I knew he would have.
Yeah.
So at the end there, after the tri-oval, I was trying to pin him down on the bottom, hoping I'd get a bump.
Yeah. Josh wasn't close. Josh wasn't quite close enough to you, and Kelly Kaza was really putting the bumper to Paglia. So.
Yeah, I thought about jumping in front of Mark when I saw him coming, and so you can bump me across the line, but I decided against that in case it wrecked me.
That's probably a smart move. Yeah. All right, Mike. Well, I'm going to give you the floor to give you a chance to thank the people that have got you here, and.
Okay. Well, first of all, I got to give a shout out to the arena room that's watching. Give a shout out to Brian and the admins who put all this together. A lot of work. And of course, I can't forget the broadcasters, Blaine and Rod. You guys do a great job.
Thanks, buddy.
And thank all the other drivers that show up week after week, make this possible. Also.
All right. Well, there you go. Our second place finisher. You did race last week, right?
Yes.
And so I don't know where he is in points Blaine will take care of that and let me know for next week when I get everything squared away, so I have all that info.
Yeah, I probably would have been in first if Alex wouldn't have won, though.
Ah, I see. Yeah, now you gotta watch that Alex guy. I tell you, he's
I
tricky.
didn't mention that while you were in it.
All right. Well, there's our second place finisher tonight, Mank Majority in the. It was a Dodge. It wasn't a Dodge. It was a Ford Thunderbird Napa car. Nice looking car too.
If you're wondering, Mike got
Thank you, guys.
ninth place finish last week, so this is a good bump.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right. Now he was already snuck into our room. I believe somebody moved him in here.
grabbed him.
You did. Oh, geez, Blaine's doing it now. Oh no, I'm going to lose a job. Alex Moe, we didn't see you all night. I didn't even know you were in the field, honestly. Sorry about that. But I looked back, I saw that paint scheme. I'm like, oh, Alex Moe's here. And I'm like, he'll be there. Give him a minute. Just give him time. He'll be there. And you did. You managed to work your way up near the front. I think it might have been some little pit strategy at the end there. But once you got out front, no looking back.
Hey guys, yeah, it was a little bit of pit strategy there at the end. I figured a splash would make it more than a half a can, so I told myself and the guys I have on Whisper, if you want some extra track position, just take a splash there because we'll be able to save enough fuel running the caution laps. But yeah, I thought I'd come and give this new league over here a try that Brian Wolf is running, and there were a few hiccups tonight, but I thought the camaraderie between all the drivers and everyone who showed up, plus the racing, was pretty damn decent. So glad to have came over here and kind of stole one, I guess.
Are you coming back next week then?
I think I work next week. I think I work 2 to 11 next week, but on Sundays here where I don't run over at fast, I'll probably run over here. I believe it's only an 8-race season, but I'll be over here whenever I can, and I'm pretty sure you guys are broadcasting every race too, right?
Yep.
I might not be here every race. I tried to be, but we're here. Or Tarnation TV is doing it for the next. Well, we got 6 more.
Well, you got to go keep that go-kart in shape.
I took the whole right front off this week, so crashed to her.
As long as you know how to fix it, that's not too much of an issue. But yeah, I had fun tonight over here. Like I said, there's a few hiccups, but I mean, once we got going, we were going. Cautions were kept to a minimum, and just happy to come over here and race and actually win one. So
ripped the right front off, broke the axle, put a new axle, right front off, still went back out, finished 3rd. But anyways,
I wish I could do all that on a cart or any kind of a vehicle. I can change oil and do brakes and small little sensors and stuff, but that's about it.
If you saw how the right fronts were held on, I mean, it literally destroyed a bunch of parts, and now I got to buy a bunch. But anyways, appreciate you coming over and running tonight and winning. Blaine, do you have anything you want to add to him before we give him the floor?
No, fantastic as always, coming out of nowhere to be up front and tonight to win the thing. The car, I remember Rod was chirping you about it had the wrong number on it. I can never remember. Do you paint your own stuff?
A lot of these cars I have are older. An old NR racer named Dion has painted a lot of my cars. I can do small edits on cars, but as far as painting one from scratch, I don't have that knowledge. I'm just a driver, not a painter. But I'm always happy to get any car that someone painted me and helped me out on into victory lane. It makes me feel good and makes them feel good too. So, but no, I'm not much of a painter. Never have been. And when I was younger and way more into the game, I cared a lot about paint schemes. Like some guys, they like a new paint scheme every week or two. Like I'm not like that anymore. Like some of these cars I run the paint schemes are 6, 7, 8, 10 years old.
I've got some old ones. If I ever run the original Cup mod, I've got one that I painted in 2000. It was November. I think it was like September or something. November. It's got a date on the file. 2003. I painted it in 2003 within the first year. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just go run that one. Who cares? I won't edit it. I won't do anything to it. I'll just, it's pretty funny to see it because it's pretty bad. And it says, coming soon, Half-Life 2, 2004. Like I was advertising all this silly stuff on it.
Half-Life 2.
Yeah, Half-Life 2, man. Because it was like, it was a Half-Life car. And it's like coming in 2004, so it's like this rolling advertisement for a game that hadn't been released yet. And if the 72 is available and I'm running original cup, I'll pull that file out, and it's cool.
My oldest one, my daughter, when she was 3 years old, saw me painting the car and said, "Dad, I want to paint one." And I still run that car to this day. So, all right, Alex. Well, congratulations on your win. It'd be great to see you back up there. I'm glad to see you come over and whoop up on these guys. Race with you off and on for a long time. And I know everyone bet against Alex Moe in Michigan. So the floor is yours to thank the people who got you here.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words. I just want to thank Lowe's Chevrolet, Brian Wolf for putting on this league. He did a great job, even though he's still learning a little bit. Blaine, Rod, you guys for broadcasting as always. You, Seth broadcasted the Firecracker 400 race last night, and all the other broadcasters out there, they do a great job. The blinking cars issue, I do have a fix for that I'm going to send Brian after the race. That should be all sorted out by next week, hopefully.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's just a simple core fix with the default core. It's just one number you have to change from 1 to 0. I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot here and send it to Brian, and he's going to forward it to everyone else. So hopefully that won't be an issue in the future. And yeah, glad to have come over here to race that. I think I raced at ASR maybe 10, 15 years ago when I was still newer to the game, but I haven't raced here in a while. But hey, from what happened tonight, I'm definitely willing to come back and race. But yeah, thanks to everyone for putting it on. Thanks to everyone for watching. Hope all the viewers and drivers had fun, and I wish everyone a great rest of their Sunday night and work week ahead.
Thanks, Alex.
Hey,
Brian?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to really interrupt you guys because I don't have that much time. I got to get to the review board. But Alex, man, congratulations. Great run tonight. Man, I really appreciate your input and your help with these issues that we're having with the blinking cars. I know Blaine had some issues with the broadcast at the beginning there by no fault of his. And I'm still having the same issue with cars blinking in and out. So I do apologize to that. For to the viewers and but great job tonight, man, as always, Alex. I can always count on you to be in the front near the end. Tough cat to beat, but I appreciate all your input and the kind words and winning the race tonight, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Thanks for the kind words as well. Thanks for putting it on. Thanks for running this new league. Looks like it's going pretty well. Can't complain about 22 drivers in a brand new league even on a Sunday afternoon when there's other leagues running too. So Thanks for putting it on. Thanks for broadcasting. You guys do a great job as always, and proud to come over here and get a win in my first race. And yeah, look out for a Facebook message in the next half hour here, Brian. And
10-4.
It'll just be a little picture with a mini tutorial about how to change that 1 to a 0. It literally
so you're
takes
saying it's the original core and then it's just one tweak. I had a feeling it would just be a one number thing because we're able to connect strong. It's just everything's flashing.
Yeah, it's the very last number in the connection wall of text there that you just have to change from a 1 to a 0. The TCP bandwidth, that's a common problem that was earlier in this game. I'm pretty sure most people have it fixed by now because everyone runs the updated core. But yeah, it's a very small fix.
Awesome.
I don't want to keep talking about it because it was an issue this race. But I'll send Brian a file and he can forward it to anyone who wants to fix that up.
Great news.
Great news. Yeah, that is great news, and I really appreciate that, Alex, because the like I was saying before, not in mixed company, but in saying before, how important it is to me that we make the league look good on TV. By no fault of Blaine's, it's hard to do when I don't know how to fix these issues. You know what I mean? It's very frustrating, and sometimes I'm ready to throw this computer out the window like a frisbee. But I really appreciate your help with this, man. Yeah, and I think once we have that, and I'm comfortable with everybody's connections and everything, and we can actually race. Because what makes it hard is, like, if there's a wreck up in front of me, I can't see the cars that I'm about to run into. It's so hard to avoid wrecks when you can't see them, and it's a problem. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna roll up our sleeves this week and try to get this thing fixed, and we're gonna bring back even better quality racing and broadcasts. So I really appreciate that, Alex. Thank you so much, man, for your input and racing so hard. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. I'm always willing to help people with what I can over the years. I'm usually pretty good with computers, so I'll help whenever I can.
And that's the great
Appreciate
thing
that,
about
man.
this. We figured
Good
somebody
job.
knows the fix because it's been around for so long and the core has been there forever that somebody knows how to fix this thing. So that's awesome, man. Thanks for your help.
Years ago, some of my earliest wreck videos that I used to post on YouTube from Open Speedway, I had that problem too, because I didn't know the fix too when I was brand new to this game. You know, you see blinking cars and everything, but after a while, someone showed me how to fix it. But yeah, that's a pretty easy fix if this league decides to go forward with just the default core. If they want to go forward with the updated core, like I said, there's other league admins out there that are perfectly willing to help, you know, Brian Wolf with what's going on here. But yeah, it's an easy fix either way. So
Cool.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much, because we do want to move forward. We want to keep going and make this thing even, like I said, bigger and better and even more fun. And I think once everybody's comfortable with their connections, you know, and seeing all the cars and all that stuff, it's just going to be that much more great.
hey, you pulled 22 guys tonight, so I say you're doing a pretty good job so far. You know, adminning the league and advertising it on Facebook. So props to you, Brian.
I appreciate that. I think the format is a big part of that. It's not just me, man. It's all you guys that show up to race. It's all these admins, ASR League, that, you know, have been just wonderful in helping me try to put this together. And here we are, going into week 3 already, and it's going to be good. By the time this series ends, we're going to have a lot more ideas and some more rules in place. I think we're going to scrap that 5 yellow cap. Let's, you know, in talking about moving forward, you know, there are some good points to tonight. The racing was fairly clean. We don't have too much to look at as far as the reviews and stuff. So thanks everybody for coming, and I will see you back here same time, same channel.
Awesome. There it is. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Blaine. Thank you, Rod.
No problem.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
That
Alex.
was
Thanks,
our
Brian.
winner, and Brian, the guy that's running the whole show. So awesome race tonight, guys.
There it is. Brian and Alex on their way out. Get out of my studio.
Yeah.
Get out.
Right. Pretty
Yeah,
good,
let's
right?
go. Yeah, I meant to ask Brian about Paglia, but we can always bring that up with Paglia next week because he won last week. So that
There you
was.
go. He'll be there. He's a good, strong super speedway racer. He'll be up in the front.
In the replay, I was looking at it while you were controlling the thing there at the start of the interviews. We were watching it back live in replay mode, and the accident happened. Paglia had nothing to do with it, but then he spun, and Wolf saved it, but he kind of bumper hooked Wolf a bit. Wolf saved it, and then that whole race to the finish line, third place thing, and then he pitted. So I think what happened was, because he almost turned Wolf, I think that's maybe why he pulled out.
Oh, that was weird situation, but maybe that's probably was the right thing to do. So we'll catch up with him and ask him about that. And good race, good 10 o'clock. We're out of here, almost out of here. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, as always, thanks everybody for tuning in to the broadcast. It's always cool, especially on a Sunday, to get anybody to watch any of this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the NASCAR Racing 2003 community on Sundays. There's a lot of leagues that operate on Sunday nights. So to be able to pull 24 drivers in here and to be able to get almost 200 hits on the video live is awesome, because we are definitely not the only channel that's broadcasting tonight. And this is definitely not the only series that is racing tonight. So we'll see you back here on Tuesday evening. We'll be back at Maverick at Daytona. And then next Sunday, ASR Superspeedway Series hosted by Brian Wolf. Thanks again to Bryant Motorsports Auto Sales for sponsoring the broadcasting. I can't say that enough. That's so cool if people actually want to bring us in here to do this. But yeah, you got any final words there, Rod?
I just thought it was a great race. Good, smart racing. We had a few cautions, but most of the stuff of the cautions just usually just a bad bump gone wrong. I mean, really, you know, people are trying to. You got to bump, you got to push, and just in the wrong time, the wrong situation, they started a little too early or maybe a little too late. Other than that, just a great great night. Great doing these broadcasts.
I noticed too, like with this series, there's a mix of 3 or 4 different leagues here too. So it's going to take these guys a couple of races to kind of see how each other roll. And going into next week, race 3, I don't know, man. It's been good for the last 2. It's only going to get better. So let's go ahead and see what happens. But yeah, man, as always, thanks for co-hosting this evening. Always cool. And thanks everybody for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting on the YouTube. As always, rocking and rolling. It's hard to keep track of all this stuff sometimes, but we make it work. And congratulations to, of course, Alex, Mangialardi, and 2 for their 1, 2, 3 finish, and epic style as always. But Fluid Studios, Bryant Motorsports, thank you very much. And as always, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.
I want you, don't